Well, kids, that really, really sucked. The New Jersey Devils back at the Rock, looking to make it 5 in a row, riding high off of that beautiful 6-3 victory over the New York Rangers yesterday, hosting the Wings. And what do the Devils do? They lay an egg, folks. They lay an absolute egg, falling to the Detroit Red Wings by a score of 3-0. And what is there to say, guys? Cheers to all of you. Win or lose, we booze. Going back to the Coronas, win or lose, we booze. But wow, just a horrible game. Condolences to anyone who attended live and spent money on this. The pre-Olympic break, New Jersey Devils are back. Kind of the same old story. Can't finish. They showed a little feistiness throughout. But in the end, as many people pointed out, we looked okay versus bad teams for a week or so. But when you play a better team, another shutout. I don't even know how many shutouts that is on the year. It's a lot. They've been shut out or scored one goal way too many times. And you cannot win hockey games. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, Markey this and Markey that. I do think it's funny that Markey not only started back-to-back one time, that they did it again. 2 back-to-backs, and Markey's in there for both of them. But like I have pointed out, folks, and this is not just me being a Markey lover, because you know I love Markey, but I try to be fair and objective with all of these things. He has had a bad season overall, but what was Markey supposed to do? Have a shutout through regulation and hope we win in overtime of the shootout? When you do not score goals, you do not win hockey games, period. And so that, in a nutshell, is the story of this season, is that this team, you could point to all these other things as side plot issues and this and that. When you don't score goals consistently and you constantly get shut out or score a goal, you are going to be a shit hockey team. And we have been watching one, in my opinion, for at least, I would say probably 3 months. I think it's fair to say they've been pretty bad for about 3 months. And it is what it is. But the Devils shut out once again, fall to the Wings 3-0. Painful. The season's been over. Cheers to all of you who are still following this team and still participating in the lives. As the season goes on, obviously you're going to see, people just check out. And it started to happen weeks ago. I can't see how many people are in here right now, but it's way less than what normally is. And that's a byproduct of a bad team. People just have other things and other interests to invest their time and money on. And you are seeing it with this Devils club. I did say in the chat a little before, whoever was in here, that the owners really did hit the lottery with the Jack Hughes golden goal, because that is going to carry attendance down the stretch quite a bit, in my opinion. There's still going to be a lot of hype around him, for the foreseeable future, and people will still go to games despite the team not making the playoffs and just being a terrible team. Had that not happened, the building would be very sparse for the rest of the season. But we get to the game, and Mo Seider just, Markey beat by another shot. At first, I thought it may have gotten tipped or redirected in the first, but Mo Seider just fires one from deep. Markey struggled with these all season long, and he gets beat. Detroit up early at 3:20, 1-0. That is how the first period would end. We get to the second, and Jersey boy JVR, James Van Riemsdyk, scores on the power play at 6:37 to make it 2-0 Wings. And at that point, I was pretty sure the game was over. It just seemed like one of those games to me from early on that they just weren't going to be able to finish, and it was just going to be an ugly shit game. And that's exactly what this was. 2-0 Wings after 2. We go to the third. Devils had a couple chances, and then at 10:24, the dagger comes. JVR gets it to shine for his first NHL career goal, probably the 300th guy in the past few years to get their first NHL goal against the Devils. And that is how the game would end. 3-0 Wings. Devils shut out once again. And we go to the game stats. 30 shots on goal for each team. Face-offs, 50%. You see the first two stats, and you're like, whoa, pretty close game. 30 shots apiece. Face-offs exactly 50%. And then we get to the power play. Wings power play 1 for 5. Much better than going 0 for 2. But it seems like Brendan Dillon is a new target, I would say, for the referees. I didn't think that hit should have been a penalty. I thought that was kind of BS. 2 minutes for playing hockey for Brendan Dillon. He blew up, I think it was Cop. It's just nonsense. But, it doesn't even matter anymore. Wings with 17 hits, Devils with 19 hits. Wings, 16 block shots. The Devils, 5 block shots. Wings, 18 giveaways. Devils, 12 giveaways. Wings, 6 takeaways. And the Devils with 3 takeaways. And I might as well just do this if there's anything noteworthy here. Not really. I mean, what are you going to talk about in a game like this? I thought Timo was pretty active. This, obviously didn't register any points. 2 shots and 3 hits. He was kind of an agitator out there. Lenny Haminaho with 2 shots and a block. Paulie Cotter, 3 hits. Bukestad with 2 shots, 2 hits. Grits with 4 shots and a hit. Jack Hughes, 4 shots. Dawson Mercer, 2 shots and a block. Dilly with a shot and 2 hits. Dougie with 3 shots, a block and 2 hits. Johnny Kovacevic, 2 shots and a hit. Shimo Nemitz with 3 shots. Luke Hughes with 4 shots, a block and a hit. And Markey, 27 saves on 30 shots. That is your player stats. But, I think now I don't even really know what to say. I mean, I fully knew that this team was not making the playoffs for a long time, and I've been pretty vocal about that. I was still hoping to see it and see a miracle run. But tonight was a very cold, harsh dose of reality that this team is not very good, despite whatever you wanted to believe over the past week or two coming out of the Olympic break. This team is just not great. They cannot score regularly. There's plenty of deficiencies. We have a completely inept general manager, and it is what it is. October, meaningful hockey games in 7 months, guys. 7 months until meaningful hockey. It kills me inside. You guys know I live and die with this team. Absolutely love the New Jersey Devils, and what we have become is just an excruciating thing to follow, an excruciating thing to devote time to. And like the sucker that I am, and many of you, we will continue to watch in agony, in complete agony. Watching this game was just like, I'm kind of past the point of, it came in waves, and I told you guys, I think it was a couple months ago at least, that I came to grips and kind of had a funeral for this 25-26 Devil season to myself at home one day. And I was like, no, they're really going to miss. And I kind of went through all of the progressions of things that go through your mind when you think about something like that and come to the realization that this is the reality. They're not going to make the playoffs. And I firmly have believed that for quite some time. But so all the anger and all that sort of thing kind of came a long time ago. And it's been more of just depression and dejection, I would say, over the past 6 weeks or so. And thank God for USA Hockey, guys. USA Hockey is the only thing. It eased the pain a little bit. Not completely, obviously, or not even close to completely, but it did really help a little bit, because without that, I would be much more down in the dumps. But yeah, it's super unfortunate. Another season squandered. Another tragic deadline, as you all know. I mean, I could talk about the deadline all day, but I didn't expect any big pieces coming in like many people did, but I didn't expect a complete just nothingness. I didn't expect nothingness. I thought in a seller's market, we would have sold off a few pieces and improved our situation heading into the summer, but I don't even know. But American Swagger, guys, if you have American Swagger, link in the chat and in the description of the video. Orders will close probably tomorrow. Shout out to everybody that ordered a t-shirt or hoodie. Yeah, they're going to close soon. So if you're interested in that, hit the link. But yeah, there's really no light at the end of the tunnel, in my opinion. I hate to be negative. But there's really nothing to be positive about, honestly. Outside of the fact, I mean, there's a few silver linings on the season, and you guys know I hate silver linings and moral victories. But coming out of the season, my two biggest takeaways from this season will be that Jack Hughes is a new man. I mean, there's no doubt about it. If you had paid close attention to Jack Hughes before the Olympics and after, he is a brand new dude, and it's amazing to see the maturation of Jack Hughes that went down in those 3 weeks in Milano, Italy. While I was gaining tons of weight and stuffing my face and running around the city with my man Traveling Devil, Jack Hughes got a thorough, I don't even know what you want to call it, rejuvenation, maturation, whatever you want to call it, completely different dude after the Olympics, and it's going to serve him well for the rest of his career, and it's already kind of started. You see the way he carries himself in interviews. Much different than beforehand. Obviously, didn't score a ton of goals up until, or any goals, I don't think, up until the Ranger game, but he had that Hattie, 4 points. He's been getting assists. I think hopefully he stays healthy this summer, puts in a little work, off-season training, and comes back like a man with a vengeance for next season. And so I do think we have seen kind of the start of the beginning of a new Jack Hughes chapter, which is nice. And then the other silver lining will be, assuming he could get signed and that doesn't end in another debacle, is that I think Grits is going to be a nice player for this team. But outside of that, in terms of bigger picture, like I think we're kind of a mess right now. I don't have any faith in it getting fixed with Fitz in charge, and I do believe he will be back next season. Like, I'm just kind of beaten down and depressed. But we get to the comments to see what you folks are talking about. Let's see where I'm going to start. Tropical Flamingo, back to reality. I still want to see better hockey, and let's see bounce back versus Flames and Kings later this week. Guys looked out of it and tired tonight, particularly in the third. Sad but true. Yeah. I mean, condensed schedule, Olympic year, every team's dealing with it. You got to figure it out. Mark Weeks is a second-rate goalie, third-rate announcer, and the league doesn't understand why nobody watches the games. We watch national games with sound off. In all fairness, people complain about the Devils broadcasters too. So it's like, you can't please everybody. That just is kind of the way it is with everything. I don't love the national broadcasts personally. But something you got to deal with, I suppose. But I get the people that don't like it. Jay Snow said, I've seen this team all year. Could not agree more. The people were kind of duped a little bit over the past couple weeks, but this is who this team is. A team that struggles to consistently score goals and does not win games. Joe Mama needs some fire. Fitz chance in the Rock. Shout out to Amagi. He texted me that there was one. And then I said, like, what was it, 12 people? And he was like, yeah, it wasn't very loud. So again, you're never going to get mass scale chants like that. You'll get little pockets of people, but it'll never come through on TV and it'll never really register as a thing. Jason is out-muscled, no finish, bad breakdowns. Doug says it's okay. Fitz believes in them still, guys. No, yeah, he does. Run it back, baby. Run it back again. And round we go. Robbie's bench toss, classic trap game. Detroit has our number as of late, too. A nice little rivalry brewing, I think. Dilly seems to hate these guys, and I thought Dilly was going to crack somebody's face, but we didn't get to see it. That's all I was really hoping for in that third period. I knew the game was over. I just wanted to see Dilly inflict some pain. Ryan H. says loser beverage hits harder. Yeah, loser beverage is reality beverage, unfortunately. This is where we are. 7 months till meaningful puck. Terrible. Joe Mamas is going to booze hard tonight, boys. Spencer, guys, it's okay. Fitz doesn't look at the standings, so this loss doesn't matter. Spencer, I wouldn't blame Markey. Blame this on Markey one bit. And, some people will, or at least complain about him. But like I've said for most of the games this season, when you don't score goals, it doesn't matter how bad the goalie plays. We just don't score goals. Adam says, fans know pro sports equals business. I'd be embarrassed to have Fitz as my manager for my business. What a disgrace and waste of talent. Yeah, and I think he's back next year. I really do. Ritter Engines is a bunch of losers, period. The team has several issues to address, and fixing is going to take a long, long time. The crazy part is, and I will continually say this, with a competent GM, which we do not have, but with one, if we were able to go out and get a competent GM, I don't think this team is as far away as people believe, but it takes a competent GM to make the right moves. We get nothing. We get absolutely nothing. Joe Mama says true, but giving up that softie from the blue line killed this team. Fine, but they still didn't score a goal. So, Tropical Flamingo, we are stuck with Tom Fitzgerald, and so no confidence to get any help. So guys need to find it from within. But as a group, these guys need help, which we won't get with Fitzgerald. Ted says, very sad, very depressing. Devils have no horses. I mean, we have some, but they're just not consistent enough. We need some snarl. When guys like, in a 2-0 game in the third period, are going to start mixing shit up. Face washing dudes, maybe run the goalie over a little bit. Jason says, wasn't his fault at all, but the first goal was super soft. I agree, but it's just a combination of everything. Troy Machine opted not to watch the third period to finish watching World War III break out in Buffalo. Yeah, what a game. There was 10 tilts in there and 8-7 and back and forth. I got to go back and watch the highlights again. I've seen a little bit of it. Absolute bonkers game in Buffalo. Doug, no one clears big bodies in front of our net. Barely any block shots. The power play is hot, then ice cold, and no one can score. Devils Mets 6-3-9-3. Why the hell are the Devils rolling out Markstrom every game now? I wish I could tell you. I have no idea. I do think goalies are, as I've expressed for a long time, growing up in the era that I did, top flight goalies, or even just, run-of-the-mill starters, played back-to-backs fairly often. And I've always thought it was crazy that it was treated like some ridiculous thing in the current league, that starting guys back-to-back is just this wildly outlandish scenario. And they did it twice with Markey. And we weren't winning with any goalie in there tonight because we scored 0 goals. Perhaps Markey playing well in back-to-back starts in the Olympics for Sweden may have kind of probably given Markey the ammo to go to whoever and be like, yo, I'm playing again. Markey wants the net, and I like a fiery competitor like that. I want a goalie who wants the net every single night. That's how the great Martin Brodeur was. He wanted to play every single game. Obviously a different level of player, but Marty was in there all the time. There was plenty of seasons. He had 75, 76, 77 starts. It was just an absolute workhorse. Tropical Flamingo, there was no rhythm to this game. We couldn't score, no speed, no legs. Passes were terrible, but tired performance and a sad game. Yeah, you're not lying. It was just one of those typical pre-Olympic break Devils games where just not much going on. Pahadios, Fitzgerald isn't going anywhere. He's only 57, so he won't die anytime soon. This is going to be Devils hockey for probably the next 2 decades. If this guy is still somehow here in 2 decades from now, I would have been in a mental institution for the last probably 18 years of that 20-year period. I think I could only handle 2 years max of this guy before I need to reside in a padded room, because it's just been the same old thing year after year. Crazy Alex says we used up all of our goals last game. It's possible, but we know this team's not great in the second half of a back-to-back either, and they're playing Detroit, who's a much better team. Jason, no, Dylan can't make a hit without getting a penalty. Yeah, he seems like a target for refs. I don't know why. It's like anything this guy does, penalty. And on some sequences, they'll find a way to give him 2 penalties. It's crazy. Westbound on Olympic, back to reality when playing a good team. Pahadios, our power play is trash, and scoring 3 on the Rags meant nothing because they are one of only 2 teams that are worse than us. Spencer, since the 9-0 Islanders loss, we've done more harm to Markey than he's done to us. Probably. I think that's a very fair statement. That Markey has played better than the offense for the most part since that brutal game on Long Island. I think you're absolutely correct with that. Robbie's bench toss says Jacob Markstrom, tank commander, reporting for duty. For real, though, if we don't score any goals, you can't put it all on 25. Tropical Flamingo, Calgary could very well have sparse crowds. We will see. 3 games left on this homestand. We need to see more from this group. Way too many times getting shut out. Exactly why we need help with scoring. Yeah, we need a real top 6 winger, and we need some better bottom 6 pieces. Martinelli's Mo Sider's an absolute stud. Him and Edvinson together is an absolute nightmare. Detroit's got some very good players and some great young players. Other teams find a way to move towards relevancy after years of being irrelevant. Tropical Flamingo, but Fitz makes 0 moves even to sell. He's special. Ted says stunning that Fitz has job security. I completely agree. I don't know how you could have it, but it's just the question we'll never understand. Logic does not apply. Westbound on Olympics, his first goal tonight was very soft. Justin says Fitz will probably be extended. Yo, Holmes says, what up, disgrace. Jason, no, that's what a real D pair looks like. Spencer, if Fitz is still GM next season, please don't attend, guys. Stand your ground. He will be the GM, folks. I mean, I can't even begin to understand how anyone who follows this team would not fully believe that he's coming back. Yo, Holmes playing Markstrom every day. Joe Mama, I don't even know why I watch anymore. Westbound on Olympic, Vince is coming back. I think that's clear. I'm completely with you, Westbound. I think it's painfully obvious. Jay Snow, it's crazy to me how much money Fitz had dumped into our back end without having a real number one D-man. Or how about the fact that we just refused to replace Toffoli? Collect records. If Fitz stays, we may not even have meaningful hockey next season. He's not fixing this shit show. Oh, dude, I know. And it's like, it pains me to think about next year because it's another year where it's like, time is ticking, guys. Like I've said, I'm tired of talking about the bright future. After a decade-long rebuild, the time to win is now. The time to win is right now. These guys are approaching 30. Who knows what the future holds? You must try to win now. Joe Mama says, maybe it's just to laugh every time Dougie misses the net by 10 feet. Why did we not trade Dougie? I'll never understand it either. And if you're going to keep Dougie, then why didn't you trade Nemo? Tropical Flamingo, I was wrong. I thought Allen would have gotten the start tonight, but Markey right now is in good graces. I just think too much of him at his age, but we can't score. Can't expect Markey to be perfect, brutal. Yeah. Yo, Holmes, a packed house with families wanting to see an American hero who just had a Hattie shut out at home like the total disgrace we are. Right? Imagine watching that game yesterday and like, we got to go tomorrow, Dad. We got to go. And he's like, all right, Johnny, we'll go to the game. And then they follow up that exciting Ranger game with that. Mark Chernoff, teams a tax write-off for ownership. A lot of the tickets are giveaways and promos. That's why they don't care. Yo, Holmes, another Fitz punt season. Frank Hand, did you see the golden retriever behind the Devils bench? It has gotten to the point where you need to bring support animals to Devils games. I did see that. Buttus Move says, I want Ace's face on merch. I'll wear it to games. I don't think anybody wants that. Yo, Holmes, not even a Sprong-esque trade. We've got a bowl of hot nothing. Yeah, I really thought we were going to see at least that, but I guess, his Sprong-esque deals were completed prior to the deadline, and that was, getting Siplikov in the Palat dump-off and then trading for Bukestad. Like, that was his little, minor tinker moves that are going to move the needle. Absolutely not at all. Tropical Flamingo bright spots we have to look forward to as we still have 2 more with Trash Rags organization. Buttus Move says, give me merch with a picture of Ace on the food bar. Joe Mama, shameful. Yeah, this is just so much negativity, but I get it, guys. I mean, God, it's just been painful. Yo, Holmes, the future is bright. It's why these glasses are on. David Chimes, want meaningful, fun hockey? Start a fencing with the Sabres, swimming with the Sharks, or quacking with the Ducks podcast. I will say I had it on. I wasn't like attentively watching because I was doing some shit, but I watched that Islanders-Sharks game last night, and I'm not obviously, the Islanders are one of the teams we were hoping to run down in this miracle scenario. Was rooting for them to lose in overtime, and I'm rooting for the Sharks as well. So it was kind of dual purpose. And the Sharks had a power play like at the very end of the third, and I was like, oh man, give me a Celebrini goal right now to prevent the Isles from picking up any points. But to the Islanders' credit, man, they're a gritty-ass team. Shout out to Patrick Waugh and the New York Islanders are a gritty bunch. They killed off the penalty and found a way to win in overtime. Beautiful breakaway goal by Bo Horvat, assisted by Schaefer. Swimming with the Sharks. Martinelli says there are really good delis on the island. Jay Snow, I still need to see a full season of Jack. If he plays 50 games next year, it's a problem. Yeah, and that's the thing, like I said last night. After every year, you go, oh, if next season, if Jack stays healthy, it's always if Jack stays healthy, and hopefully he can. Hopefully he can, but we need some help outside of that. We can't continue to live with the Fitzgerald creed of getting a guy back from injuries like making a trade. Like that's not reality. Tropical Flamingo, dose of reality hit us right in the face with his performance. Millions of shutouts, and yet Fitz says, I believe entirely in this group. No tweaks needed. He's something else, and we're stuck with him. John T says, what? No AHL level team tonight? I guess not. Yo, Holmes, we stink. Utica stinks. Booze face stinks. Steve Dave, Jack needs to do less talking and more worrying about staying healthy on the ice. We have some gamers, yet this team as a whole needs a reboot. I agree. We need some new blood. Yo Holmes says, injured at dinner for a non-epileptic nor drunk or drug addict is absolutely nuts. Wild story. Jay Snow, the core needs to be shaken up. It's not working. We've talked about this for months. It's not going to happen. This guy is in love. Yeah, he's still, not only is he still believing them, he's in love with the core. He does not have it in him to trade one of them. Yeah, Joe Mama, the year started so good too. I know. That 8-game heater had me really, I was high on the Devils winning streak fumes. And it was such a fun time. I'll always look back on those times fondly. It was a great little run, and it really, really, really cemented in my mind that this team was legitimate. But as we found out, not the case. We bought the fool's gold. Nico says, so I guess we suck again. That is a great assumption. SJ, damn, no playoffs now. For sure wouldn't mind a high pick now. Well, for what? Where, the pick, they're going to draft with it. They're not going to trade it. They're going to draft with it, and it's going to be a guy that's not going to help us anytime soon. So it's like, again, you're going to start hearing the spin of the bright future. McCurdle, Markstrom led him 2 softies 2 nights in a row. Jake Allen should have been in net. Keefe caved to soothe Marky's ego to start back-to-back games. And this is what I was talking about probably before you came here. We did not score a single goal tonight, my man. We scored 0 goals. Close your eyes and see your eyelids. We scored 0 goals. To talk about the goaltender, even if we lost 10-0, to talk about the goaltender is insanity. David S. doesn't make sense that Fire Fitz Chance now is here for the summer and all of next year too. Gleason, I think it's easier to get Chance going like Fire Fitz at the beginning of the season when there is a big concentration of hardcore fans. I don't think there's enough hardcore fans for it ever to happen, if I'm being real. Tropical Flamingo, bad team coming here Thursday. At least show some pride and beat Calgary. Sweep them again. What guys get paid to do? Show it in your play. Build confidence in your play. Ryan, Shine scored his first NHL goal ever. He deserves to be in the league. John T, no traffic in front, no tips, no rebounds. That's hockey and will always mean no wins. Nico says Markey had no business starting this game. Odd call by Keefe. But again, I say it. We scored 0 goals. It didn't matter if I played goalie tonight. We scored 0 goals. Yo, Holmes, Country Keefe already on the plane home back to Toronto. Jay Snow, what's even worse is in 7 months, we're going to see the same team on the ice. There'll be at least minimal changes. Do I believe it'll be mostly the same team? Yes. Do I think Fitz actually gets a real top 6 winger this offseason? I'm going to say probably not. I think we see a couple bottom 6 signings in the summer and play back the movie once again. Just rewind. I forgot about this guy too, Chimes. Only silver lining I see is Glass proving he's matured into a real deal 3C. And finally getting rid of Palat's cap-screwing contract. If Fitz gets fired, they'll be 5. He's not getting fired. But, yeah, good point. I forgot. Glass is a legit 3C. Would love to get an even better 3C and bump Glass down to 4C. But he has been a solid 3C. Yo Holmes says bottom 6 is a garbage dump trash heap. Gleason, what is up with the absolute morons mad at Markstrom? It's almost crazy. The puck could pinball all 5 players and there'd be people dogging Markstrom in a 0-2 loss. Low IQ judgments on the goals. Yeah, it just seems like it's a popular thing to kind of pile on Markey this year. Tropical Flamingo, we could count on Tom Fitzgerald to get us any help. He loves waiting and hoping method. Yeah, this is just an overwhelming ball of negativity. But I'm going to let everybody vent. I mean, this is what this is for. Group therapy. Shout out to everybody still watching the boys, still rooting for the wins, or just maybe watching out of morbid curiosity. Whatever it is, shout out to you guys because many people, like I said, over the past couple of weeks, as this team has sank in the standings, many of the more fair weather-ish type fans have checked out. And you guys are still here on the ship. You guys know I will go down with the ship. SJ, if the other team scores first, it's a wrap. Devils never come back. It does seem like, they do have trouble winning games where they do not score first. And they haven't scored first a lot this year at all. Doug, we're going to move on from a young, promising D-man and Nemitz for the hopes to bring in a top 6 winger when we need to dump Hamilton and free the cap, shift assets, and use that to get what we need. If I'm being real honest, I don't think Nemo even wants to be here, guys. I just feel like he probably thinks there's double standards going on, which you definitely could make the argument that there is. Between, him getting yo-yoed between Utica and the Devils, and then he was healthy scratched whenever that was, a month or so ago. He's probably a little upset and probably would welcome a change of scenery if it was presented. I don't know. I just feel like there's a little animosity between him and the organization, so it would seem. Something's a little off. Joe Mama, not making excuses, but it seems like every bounce went against us this year. Yeah, but you can't, I mean, to have that mentality for an entire season, it's like at some point you're not unlucky, you're just bad. Like, this is who you are. You're a bad team. Doug says, I mean, the season was cooked after Chicago cut, and let's be real, Quinn Hughes should be a Devil right now. Don't get me fired up on that. This man botched a deal that was on a silver platter. Could not have asked for a better scenario for a star player in the league, and it did not happen. And here we are. The fumble of the century. Westbound on Olympics says, trust the process. Jay Snow, it's sad to think we used to be a heavy team that didn't take any shit. Once upon a time, a once proud organization that has turned into this. SJ, goalie's been decent lately. The offense is a tragedy. Yeah. I mean, when you look back at the season, the story of the season is going to be a horrible offense. Nico, we should have claimed that big guy off waivers from TB, Douglas, or whatever. But none of this was going to matter. It was all too late. There should have been moves made at the end of November, early December. The cracks in the armor were clearly showing. John T., after seeing the Avs Wild game earlier, it's just so obvious and depressing how far away we are from playing serious men's hockey. Timu, Fitzgerald has wasted Nico and Brad's career. I agree. I think these guys could be great pieces of a team, a more balanced, well-rounded team. And I wouldn't be shocked to see some of these guys move on at some point later in their careers and win cups elsewhere. Mark, Siegs Kobe Dillon over Nemitz in Fitz's mind. All you need to know, not that Nemitz is an all-star, but he's 22. I like Nemo. I like Nemo a lot. But I just feel like we're headed towards a potential bitter breakup here. Ryan H., unfortunately, in my opinion, the issue starts with the owners down. That is 100% true. They could care less about the Devils as opposed to other organizations they have as long as cash is coming in is good enough. Yeah, it's ran like a streamlined business. Amagi, Buffalo GM gets fired and they become a legit competitor immediately. What is protecting Fitz? I guess his relationship with the owners and the fact that the team is still making money, as everyone's pointed out. That is the true report card for the team. It's not the standings or their record. It's how much did this team profit this year. And despite being bad, they're going to be a pretty damn profitable team. SJ says, sad Nico's almost 30. Yeah, and everyone talked about it for years. Like, oh, we'll eventually win. We're so young. The time's not here. The window's not open. And like I said, bang, 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 bang. Just like that, folks. Seasons just coming off the board. Another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And now my man's been in the league for 10 years and won a single playoff round and 7 total playoff games, approaching free agency. And he's probably like, what the flying did I do or did they do to my career? What am I doing here? What am I doing here? Traveling Devils says lockstep to the bottom. David S., 6 goals 28 hours ago and 0 tonight. Consistently inconsistent. How can you go so cold so quick after you were so hot a day ago? Unbelievable. I mean, for this particular one, I would say they were flying high with the rivalry. Jack Hughes is a certified Rangers killer, and the fact that the Rangers are just a very bad team. All of that combined to allow that victory to happen. Tropical Flamingo, a lot of perimeter skating in this game. Also limited ozone time. Third was horrendous. All over in a rivalry game versus Detroit. Should have been more. 3 days off after this one. Leave it out there. We did not. Timu. The owners are the biggest issue. As long as their cash cow is there, they don't care. All their franchises are miserable. Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to have to have a series of luck to truly be competitive, in my opinion. And we're going to have to get lucky on so many levels. And with a good GM, you still need a good amount of luck. But when you have the ownership group we have and Fitz, it's like we need to be even more lucky than the normal level of lucky. Pahadio's 1% chance to make the playoffs, so you're saying there's a chance. This team is so cooked, folks. There's no chance. Is it a coincidence all of the HBSE teams suck? I'm going to say no. SJ, those years go quick, 3 years and nothing. Yeah, the years fly by, and I've been saying this for years. I remember a similar thing, and obviously very different circumstances, But I remember when Zach Parise came into the league as a young kid, and it was like, oh, this is a great young player. He's going to be a great Devil, and hopefully he's a big part of a cup team. And then before you know it, you're like, damn, this guy's been here for a while, 6-7 years, hasn't happened yet. And then obviously we got to the finals with him, and then everything that else happened after that. But careers go by quick. The future is bright. Devil Dog, for this franchise, 3 years is quick, not free, properly run franchise. Ryan H., owners are happy to have Jack Hughes, which obviously is very marketable, so they will be content as is. Yeah, like I said a little while ago, they hit the lottery with that golden goal. That's going to really pad attendance down the stretch. Jay Snow said, I think I'm starting to think like Ace. I'll be lucky to see one more cup in my lifetime. How old are you again, Snow? I mean, after what we've seen, Tropical, the JVR goal was hard to stop. Mark, he can't be perfect. We needed to score, but nothing serious, minus a couple shots in the second on these guys. Dump of a game. Moving on, we'll go down with the ship. Yeah, we're all going, at least the people still here. The crowds are going to continue to dwindle. They're going to get smaller and smaller. By the end, there might be 6 of us in here, as everyone just checks out one by one. Samuel, next year is just rinse and repeat. I certainly hope not, but I do fear that could be the case, minus a few bottom 6 tweaks like we saw this previous summer. Devil Dog, Nico will be gone next year anyway when he turns 28 and is a UFA. Well, that's another project on the docket for Fitz this summer, is to try to get Nico extended. And if he won't extend, it's going to be very interesting to see how that all plays out. Do they consider dealing him in the summer? Do they wait till the deadline next year? Like, my God, you can't lose him for nothing. Samuel says the answers are in the room. We are in the wrong room. SJ, Fitz is too safe. He won't go for it. We are screwed. Yeah, he needs to take a page out of his buddy Billy Guerin's playbook. You need to put the chips in. You need to make a push. Jason Sorokin's also going to win the Vezina. Yeah, he's a beast. He had some big-time saves last night as well. Richie, no legs tonight. Disconnect on offense, but the wife and I got Sattva King bed, so we got that going for us. When you get a new knee, the wife, least I could do. I think that's a fancy brand, if I'm not mistaken, and I've heard good things about it. Good for you, Richie. Sleeping in comfort and style. Very important. Gleason. Fitz added another great finisher in Bukestad. This guy is money on slot chances and 2-on-1s. Fits right in. Let's collect some more guys like that who shrinks on every chance. Man. Tropical. 8 teams in the Metro. We're the only ones that did nothing. To quote the best Home Alone movie, you're the only one to make trouble. Richie says, Ace, if and when you go to Angelica's, I have to get the pistachio cake. Okay. I've heard nothing but good things. So, like I said, once we get out of this winter weather for good, and I'm excited. I think it's going to be like 60 for a couple days. Pretty warm today as well. And then with the clock change, give me more sunlight, baby. Give me more sunlight or give me death. So Chase knows at least Richie's going to score tonight. That was good, Snow. That was good. Richie, you got to put one on the board. You're the only one. So SJ says, I know Ace just hoping for a lottery win, I guess. I don't even, honestly, I wouldn't even be excited if we had the number 1 pick. I'd be like, whoop-de-doo. Like, I can't be excited about the bright future anymore, guys. I cannot. I am sorry. I am so beaten down and just scarred from everything that has gone on over the past, mostly over the past 15 years. Like, give me a break, man. Give me a break. We haven't had a single back-to-back playoff appearance. That is psychotic. Devil Dog says, Islanders didn't tank last year with Lou, and they won the draft lottery, so draft picks mean a lot, LOL. Well, I mean, obviously you have to get lucky to win the draft lottery, and then you also have to be lucky that there is a generational player available in said draft, and Schaefer certainly looks like that. But there's plenty of other years where even you could even say in the whole draft, there's not a guy like Schaefer. Ryan H., even if we had a very high pick, which should be traded for a win now move, Fitzgerald would still draft, which is horrible. Could not agree with you more, Ryan. Drafting with first-round picks with where this team is at right now is complete and utter malpractice. Complete and utter malpractice. Amagi, thank you for the super, sir. It takes 2 to tango. Yeah, and again, how many years can people really buy this and accept this as a valid excuse? This has been the reoccurring nonsensical motto for years. And it's like, look around the league. Every other team finds ways to make trades. Every other team. And there could be something to the point where a lot of people are like, whoa, well, maybe the owners told Fitz he can't make trades. And like, that's very possible too. But that would be even more shocking to me because I do believe he's coming back next year. So why would you not let him make trades? It's all just super perplexing and baffling because it makes no sense. Robbie's bench toss says if it's not a top 5 pick, which is like a 93% probability, you trade it. You should trade it even if you have the number 1. Devil's Den, what's up, Austin? Fun fact of the night, half our forwards didn't get a shot on net tonight. Glass, Heisher, the Don up. You know, yo, Austin, is Austin still in here? Austin, I want to hear you rant a little bit, my guy. Austin, if you're here, type in the chat. It's been a while. Devil's Den, Austin, are you here, sir? Are you here? Maybe he left. Austin probably dipped out. All right, let me scroll back up here. David, I watched the whole game. Sharks broadcast had unintentional hit. Oh, hot mic and while I could hear him yelling in the background all game, cursing and all. Isles got away with mugging Celebrini twice, no penalty. Celebrini's goal was beast, too. He got the puck in the slot and just ripped it. What a sniper. What an exciting kid to watch, huh, David? Yeah, Schaefer's so good, as is Celebrini. They're both ridiculous, and I expect Schaefer is definitely going to be on the Canadian Olympic team in 2030. They're gonna have 2 really young kids, and Mac tore it up in this Olympics as a 19-year-old. He'll be back next time at 23, and I think Schaefer is a similar age, or he might be 18. He might be 22 then. I mean, wow. Team Canada is going to have some young guns next time around. Oh, all right. We're going to bring Austin in. Hold on, Austin. Austin's email is some crazy. All right, hold up. Yeah, it's hard for me to restrain. Like, I really want to just say so much, like, really negative stuff, but there's no point. It's going to fire me up. When I get off of here, I'd like to watch a movie. Shout out to my boy Tim from Uncle Puckers. The other night, I watched them for a little bit, and I was about to watch a movie, and then I saw the notification that they were doing a live, and I was like, damn, you guys, because I really just wanted to watch a movie and disconnect entirely from this team and not watch anything remotely related to them. And then I got stuck watching the show. But shout out to Uncle Puckers. Check them out if you haven't seen it. Also, some longtime fans that are suffering through all of this. Fitz will never bring in anyone that upstages Hughes. No one's going to upstage Hughes at this point, Mark. That shouldn't even be a concern to begin with. But in the end, it's not even possible. Anyone who could potentially upstage Jack Hughes is not going to be traded anywhere. So that shouldn't even be a concern. That's just the hockey gods bless the Islanders. Samuel, the shift in agents by Nemo tells all. It's possible. John T. Jack is very talented, but he cannot be the centerpiece that's dependent upon due to his injury history. Would be fine ancillary player like Almo, but need a serious, edgy skill players to lead the team. I think he could lead the team, but he can't be the only guy driving the bus. You need some of those, scritty men. Bonzo, we scored no goals, but maybe Allen wouldn't have given up any goals. Mark, you must go. Oh, my God. Bonzo, this is the worst take ever, bro. We scored no goals, but maybe Allen would have also had a shutout. Just listen to yourself. Just listen to yourself. I can't. Samuels' beer isn't strong enough for this loss. Gleason, why was it a bad move? Nico, starting Markstrom makes zero difference. I wouldn't have started him, but it didn't matter. Yeah, I'm with you, Gleason. What are we talking about? If we had Marty, we lose. Exactly. 0 goals. Yo, Holmes, I don't look at the standings. I've asked everyone what is Dev scoring. The greatest hits quotes of Fitz will go down in history. We have a lot of Swiss jackknives. C-Piece is really tempted to get that light gray hoodie, but the white is fire too. I like them all. I don't think you can go wrong with anyone. They're pretty sweet, pretty limited edition, and you'll be pretty special if you order one. And I think I'm going to include a little bonus for those that order. There's going to be a little special treat in there. I can't say what it's going to be, but there's going to be a nice treat for those that order an American swagger piece. You'll be getting something extra special, a little cherry on top. Robbie's bench toss says, good thing all these players left some meat on the bone for this. I mean, yeah. Imagine giving a team-friendly deal to then be part of this calamity. John T. Brady is the answer to change the dynamic of this team without question. Do anything to make it happen. But unfortunately, the Sens are rolling now. We have no alpha stud at all. Guys, I've been beating the Brady drum for years. 4 years, and now the cat's out of the bag. He's way more known and on everyone's radar now. Not that he was unknown back when I started talking about him, but his stock, I think, has risen tremendously since then. And I just can't see it happening. Well, Carl says all the Devils have to do now is go 17-2 the rest of the way and hope the Bruins lose a lot more with those yellow jerseys. It's over. It's over. Just let it go. Jay Snow, Jesper Bratt would be amazing in Ottawa. Ryan H., I feel Nico is bouncing as soon as possible. And I would not blame him whatsoever. He'd be one of the first guys to leave in free agency that I would have zero ill will towards because, anyone who had left during the Lou days, like Lou was a very good GM and we were in it to win it every single year. With the administration we've been enduring for the past, I don't know, what is it now, 6 years, 7 years, whatever it is, I wouldn't blame the guy at all. Be like, basically it equates to your boss is a complete moron and the company has been run into the ground. Why would you still want to be an employee here when 15 other companies are actively approaching you with a better culture and everything else and a chance to win a cup? I mean, there's John T. You cannot retain Jack, Nico, Bratt, and Timo and expect to change the team. 2 or all of them need to go and be turned into other skilled grit players. A serious GM. But obviously all of them is ridiculous. I think at most you would ever see is 2. And I don't think we even see 1 because Fitz is head over heels in love. Yo, Holmes, Lindy team has balls, scored goals, and will probably go to the playoffs, all while we're just holding a stick hoping. I think they're going to make some noise too. Richie, Ace, I think you're onto something with Nemo. He's been jerked around a lot, and that new agent gig is a strong indicator he wants out or a lot of jing. I think he may get both. He may get paid and sent somewhere else. Nicole, we have decent players. We've seen great. If we don't get some new players, first choice, something needs to be done about team dynamics so they jive better. They need family therapy or something. I think we're beyond therapy, Nicole. At this point, I think they need like an exorcism. I don't know. I just think as a group, while I like these guys and they're good players, as a group, they're just not going to get it done. And I don't know how many more seasons people need to see this, including Fitz, before they believe it. Like the ceiling for this team is probably getting to the playoffs and getting absolutely smacked in the first round. Like that's not what we're here for. We're here to hang banners. We're here to win cups, or at least that should be the motive. And that's what the players want. And you're not doing that with inactivity and just hoping and wishing. It is a ineffective strategy, and that's been proven for the past several years now. Doug says we're stuck in the mud, and everyone in the locker room knows it. Matthew, I am done. I just burned my Jack Hughes jersey. Will now only be wearing a Sean Avery Rangers jersey. I mean, that's a little crazy. Yo, Holmes, the future is bright. 2015. Justin, way to be positive, Ace, and you wonder why everyone is so negative. I don't know what that was in reference to. It was kind of a while ago. I mean, listen, the reality is not positive. There's nothing to be positive about right now. Among the worst scoring team in the league, Doug, since December 1st, we're a bottom 5 team. Ted, among the worst scoring in the league. Tropical Flamingo, DVRs will have evidence anyone needs to look at when we take Fitz's approach of hoping and praying, combined with owners that are not concerned with on-ice product, just profits, rerun next year. Ryan Demand says, let's go Devils. I'll go down with this ship too. We got Fitz, the Dits. Crazy Alex, where would Nico go? To one of the many teams that'll be vying for his services. There'll be tons of teams trying to get Nico. He'd be a great piece on a contending team. John says, time to go down with the ship, lads. Ryder, Justin, what is there to be positive about? Should I lie to you? That's the thing. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm not going to pretend everything's okay. It's far from okay. John T, Jack being marketable, teenage girls buying his jersey will never get us a cup contender if he remains the centerpiece. I don't know what you mean by centerpiece. He just needs other guys around him who are going to do other things he's not going to do. I don't know what you mean exactly by centerpiece. Like, you bring in a guy like Brady, I like this team a lot. Justin says, have to get Jack some help. Samuel, Fitz will find a way to have Nico leave for Sprong. No, I think they're going to go to them this summer and be like, listen, buddy, well, what do you want to do? You trying to sign here? What's it going to take? I don't think he'll be super greedy on the money, but, you know, I'd imagine somewhere in the 11 to 13 million range on a long-term deal. I'm sure the Devils would have no issue paying it. The problem is I don't think he wants to sign it here. If I'm him, I'm like, I'm out of here. Adios. I've watched you do absolutely nothing for seasons while this team burned. While the team burned. And without further ado, I forget if he's been on once or twice. My man Austin, I got this comment stuck up here from Devil's Den Hockey, because I'm like too depressed even talking about this shit. So I'm gonna talk to Austin for a little bit and then let him do his thing. Coming to live. Let me put up his link real quick before I bring him on. Another suffering fan who is just tired of the baloney and tired of the nonsense. Coming to you on Running with the Devils, my man Austin from Devil's Den Hockey. Give him a follow. I just popped the link in the description. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, Ace? How's it going?
Oh, wait, hold on. I got to unmute my shit. Hold on.
Ooh.
All right, there you go. I had my thing on mute because my computer makes all kind of noises. How you doing, my guy?
I'm good. How about you? How's it going?
Oh, it's going, man. It's going. We're going absolutely nowhere. What I don't. What do you got for me? I don't even know what to say anymore. After the deadline, like, you know, I already thought this team wasn't making the playoffs for forever. So this is not like, you know, I think a lot of people are having their funeral moment tonight. My funeral moment came 2 months ago. So I'm not like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I mean, I could totally believe it. I mean, this is who this team is. But what are your thoughts? I guess first on the trade deadline. I can hear. I just got to go blow my nose real quick. But God, I can hear you. I'm 2 feet away.
Yeah. You go. What's going on, guys? How's it going?
Give me your trade deadline stuff.
Okay, I'm doing it, Ace. So trade deadline. Let's get into that. Trade deadline is I mean nothing really, not a move, not a nothing, not a peep, not even a minuscule signing or even a small trade. We're not unloading anyone. Okay, cool, wonderful. Was I supposed to expect more? I don't know. We have incompetent GMs, we have incompetent owners, we've got incompetency everywhere. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Like, I would expect there to be at least something, but having absolutely nothing is, I said it in my video when I did the trade deadline video, it's absolutely negligence. And I understand that we've got a bunch of no move clauses, no trade clauses, and all this stuff, but like there are several guys that you can move without having to worry about NMCs and NTCs. From what we know, Fitzgerald seems to be taking a lot of calls about Dougie Hamilton, but, you know, he wasn't on the list or whatever line he gave us in that ridiculous 20-minute presser. Like, I don't know. I made a video for the trade deadline, and I said
I gotta check it out. I'm super behind and everything because like I said before, I don't know if you heard, But I said
No, don't worry
I was
about it.
so far depressed with this team that I tried to disconnect and like watch a movie or something. And as I was about to, Uncle Pucker's, it popped up on my TV, and I'm like, damn it. I'm like, here we go. More just to seethe in my bed, sitting up in my bed, just watching it with disgust. Yeah, man.
Like, I wasn't expecting anything crazy.
No, neither was I. But sell a defenseman. Sell a defenseman.
Do something.
Just sell a defenseman. That's all I was looking for. Sell a defenseman in a seller's market. And then in his little media thing after, we have 7 everyday NHL defensemen. I'm going to try to shake one loose in the summer. Why not shake one loose now? Now people are paying crazy prices for guys. Like, sell one now. Why add another thing to your plate in the summer when likely you're going to get a lesser return anyway? I just, it's all baffling to me. I do think there could be some meddling from ownership. I don't know. At this point.
Oh, no. I don't think there's meddling from ownership, because that would assume that Blitzer and Fitzgerald aren't in sync, which very clearly we were told they very much are. I don't think it's meddling. I think they've basically given the keys to the house and the keys to the car to Fitzgerald, and have passively given their sign off to basically have him do whatever. And no matter what he does, they're cool with it. Whether it's nothing or everything, although I'm not really sure what everything is supposed to look like, because there's been nothing. He said openly on the presser that he was getting calls about Dougie Hamilton. That is a $9 million chip that I have been screaming about for months now, and I don't understand why you can't move Dougie. If the Washington Capitals can move John Carlson, why can't we move Dougie Hamilton?
Where did Carlson go for, a first and a third? And was there another thing, or was it just a first and a third?
I think it was just picks. But like the fact that you can move Carlson that has less value than Dougie Hamilton, although I mean, depending, Hamilton might have negative value.
Carlson put up beast point. I still think Dougie brings value. I still like Dougie. My issue is you would think that the team would look at Nemo as part of the future. He's a right D man. He's ready to take on more responsibility. And so you would think, okay, well, we're not going to pay all these guys, obviously. And we already have 7 everyday defensemen, as he pointed out, with guys waiting in the wings. Who the hell knows what happens with Seamus Casey, right? I think Edwards could be solid too. But you have at least 7 everyday guys with a couple others that could be capable. And it's like, you're not paying all these guys. And I don't think there's any world where obviously both Nemo and Dougie are back next season. So I do think he's trying to juggle this scenario of which one is going to be here, which one's going to be dealt. And he just couldn't get it figured out in time. I don't know. It's just super weird to me that the deadline went, and I really thought one of the two would have went. I really, really did. And if not one of them, then maybe somebody else. I thought Kovacevic was a possibility, but then I think it was Nichols tweeted out earlier in the day, like, I just talked to him and he said he's not waiving. He likes New Jersey. So I was like, okay, well then now you're looking at maybe a left D, right? That pretty much puts everybody on the right side off. So then you're like, who on the left side? And I thought maybe a Siegs or Dilly could have went. But here we are with 7 everyday NHL defensemen still. And still the big question mark of the Dougie or Nemo thing. And it's just like, it just seems like there's absolutely no plan. Everything is fly by the seat of the pants, no direction, no plan. And the team is just stuck in the mud going nowhere.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I mean, if you're going to have no activity for months and months and months and months and months, and like your GM goes into hiding while your team is like burning around you, and then trade deadline day comes and there's calls about players, and you're willing to ship off Nemo, who's, in my opinion, been arguably one of the best defensemen that we've had all year, considering everybody's been shit. I don't understand why, if you're getting calls from GMs, why you're not willing to at least negotiate an offer for Hamilton. I mean, we got to a point this year where we could not afford to play all of our defensemen because of the cap space. Why would you not try to unload a $9 million contract to somebody who's an actual contender? And I'm not saying that we dump his entire contract. You're probably going to have to retain a part of that. But even if you have to retain 50%, that's still $4.5 million that's off your books. Like, I don't understand why he has such a attachment to Hamilton, but he's willing to ship off Nemo. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, do you get where I'm coming from?
No, for sure. I don't know. It just seems like going back to a couple years ago that there is some sort of rift. And I think for me, it kind of started with, and I do think it was kind of a much ado about nothing, but there was something to it. Was where he talked to, I think it was a Slovakian publication, and some things may have got lost in translation or whatever, but he basically voiced his displeasure with being in the A. And that kind of became a story for a little bit. And then, then he came up and he was down, and then he got healthy scratch like a month or two ago. And I think he's probably like, Luke never got any of this shit. And I think that is a fair thing to point out. Like, I like Luke Hughes a lot. I think he's going to be a beast, but there's been times where, like, if this was, Luke Johnson, his ass would have been taking the bus down in Utica, or at a minimum in the press box for a game or two. That never happened. And I think he sees all this and he probably feels some sort of way about it. And I can't blame him. Obviously it's a business. There's a bunch of other nonsense at work with all of this stuff, but I don't know. It just seems like there is this contention between Nemo and the team. And then even when Fitz in that terrible media thing was like, oh, he has no rights. Like, doesn't even have arbitration rights.
Yeah,
like, the way he was talking, it was like, bro,
that left a really bad taste in my mouth when he was like,
like, what do you, if you're Nemo and you watch that later in the night, you're like, what? Like, I have no rights. Yeah. Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, I have no rights, but what, what a dick. I don't know, man. It's just heartbreaking stuff to watch. And I would be stunned if he's on the team next year. I really would. And it's a damn thing.
If Nemo is not on the team, but Hamilton is starting next year, I'm throwing my laptop and my phone and every electronic I have out a window. I'm going to go nuclear, because there's no way you can look at Nemo versus Hamilton and tell me that, like, Hamilton's the better defenseman. There's no way to, like, in my opinion, there's no way to look at it and be like, yeah, we're better off without Nemo, but we're better with, this 6'3", 6'4", ginger $9 million guy who all he can do to defend is, I'm gonna just stick my stick out and hope for the best here. Like, I know it's funny and I know I'm being hyperbolic, but, like, holy shit, like, it's crazy.
As much I like Dougie and think he's way better than you do. Despite that, I do believe that there were teams that would have taken him with no retention, believe it or not. I fully believe there would have been teams. And he even said, teams called me about him, but I didn't have his name out there. And it's like, I don't know. And the fact that Dougie wouldn't talk to Nichols when he asked him to, and he did the same thing a couple months back, I think, when someone broke the news, it may have been Friedman, about a potential deal to San Jose, which, by the way, I mean, how crazy is Dougie? Like, they went to him like, you want to go to San Jose? And he was like, no. Be on the power play with Macklin, Celebrini. Shit, I would have been like, hey, yo, sign me up. When does my jet leave?
Be on a playoff team. Go.
Yeah. When does the jet leave? But it is interesting how everything has changed, right? They tried to trade him a couple times. He nixed it. And who knows? Maybe there's a situation where he was like, I carefully selected my 10-team pre-approved list, knowing it would handcuff them. And literally Fitz went down the list, and not one team on that list could make it happen or had a desire to. And he was like, don't even bother coming to me, guys. You have my list. You struck out 0 for 10. I'll be here. I think that's a possibility as well.
It's definitely a possibility. And, like, again, I understand that it's like, it's players' rights. Like, if the GM's going to give you the kind of contract that Dougie Hamilton does, and you've already given them your all the teams you're willing to go for, and they come to you and they're like, hey, we really want to move you to this team that we know you don't want to go to because it's not on your trade list, but, like, we're really hoping that, like, we can put you in a position to win. You're going to go to a playoff contender. You're going to go to a team that's on the uphill versus the Devils that are off a cliff. Like, I don't know why, like, again, if that was me and someone came to me and was like, hey, we want to move you to, like, if I'm working a job, and I'm like, hey, we want to move you to a different location. We know it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you, but, like, You're going to get paid more. You're going to, you're going to have a better work experience, whatever it is. Like, I'm gone. Like, I'll go now. It's not a problem. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it sets a bad precedent for players to just be like, yeah, I'm willing to negotiate outside of what I've already negotiated. And that could be a thing too. But I don't know, man. The trade deadline was so upsetting. I wasn't expecting a huge splash, but I was expecting something. And just to have nothing materialize at all was just, and again, like I keep getting my hopes up, and then like I have to go, right, Tom Fitzgerald is my GM. Why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah, that's the unfortunate reality we live in. And it's just another thing kind of pushed off to the summer. So now you have figuring out what you're going to do with Dougie. You have a Nemo contract or trade. You have an Arseny Gritsu contract. You have whatever tinkering you're going to have to do in the bottom six once again. You have the elusive top six winger. You also have a potential Nico Hischier contract extension. Like, this guy is not doing half of this shit.
No,
in one summer.
He's not.
He's not doing half of it.
Nope.
So I don't know. I'm pretty much down bad. The only thing I could hope, and I don't think it is the case at all, I firmly believe Fitz is going to be back. The only thing I could hope, only thing I could hope is that there is some truth that like ownership was like, we're going to let you just stay till the end of the season. Don't do shit because you're going to be gone, but just we'll let you finish admirably and wait till the end of the year to slit your throat. I wish that was the case. I don't think that is the case, but that's the only thing giving me like a slight, like the potential of it. It's not very likely at all, but I'm still holding out hope that there could be something to that, but I don't think that is the case. I think he's going to be back and, continue to just damage a once proud franchise.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm in agreement with you there. I haven't seen any indication. I haven't seen any proof, any piece of evidence that shows me that ownership is unhappy with the way that things are going. I think they're totally fine to watch Tom Fitzgerald not only sink the Titanic, but crash it into a crater on the moon. I don't see, I mean, again, like I go back to the presser at the end of the trade deadline day where he says Blitzer and I are in sync. So to us fans who obviously aren't privy to a lot of the closed door conversations, that to us tells us ownership is, A-okay with what's going on. And again, you have to be out of touch, senile, or negligent to see what's going on and give like your A-okay sign of approval. Like, just say like, yeah, I don't really care if the team burns. I'm fine with it. I don't know. It's crazy. I wish I could be a fly on the wall inside Prudential Center and inside some of these meetings to just understand what's going on, because clearly we're missing something. And I wish I knew what it was, because nobody seems to know.
I really don't think we are. I think the reality is, as long as the team's making money, which at this point I think it's nearly impossible for any team in the league not to be profitable, even if they suck, right? Because there's league revenue splits with the TV deals and the merch and all this shit's pooled. So even if you're a horrible team, I'm pretty sure that every NHL team is going to be very, very profitable. And so as long as the money's still coming in, it seems as though nothing else matters whatsoever, because what has happened to make us believe otherwise? Like you said, the fact that this guy is just doing nothing, the team sucks again, and he just sits back and, we'll figure it out in the summer. I'll try to shake one loose in the summer. Shake one loose.
Do my best is all I can give you.
I was watching that just steaming. I'm like, I can't even watch this dude's media stuff anymore because it makes my blood boil.
Yeah.
Like watching his face and the shit that he says is just so offensively stupid.
With a straight face. He
talks like he's killing it. You would think he's Zito.
Like
you really would think he's Zito.
The guy's like laying back. He's got like no, like, it's like, oh yeah. We're in sync. We're good to go here. It's like, dude, or I know you don't pay attention to the standings, but like, can you like act like you care? Like, you're out here.
My man was sitting back like Scarface. All he was missing was the cigar. He was like,
yeah, totally. It was good to go. Man might as well be drinking the beer while he was at it because it's
we're
like
killing it.
He's in vacation mode.
We're killing it. All right, I got to jump gears here. How did you feel? Because you're the first Canadian I'm going to talk to that's also a Devils fan.
Let's go.
How did you feel when 86 buried that puck, man?
I had mixed feelings.
In the Olympics.
Man. I had mixed feelings.
Oh man, a Canadian Devils fan. Oh my God! Tell me, give me the play-by-play. What you're thinking there?
So I'm sitting there. I'm watching the game. I see it go to overtime. I'm watching all of it happen. I see the puck go east to west. I see it on Jack's stick, and I go, maybe, just maybe, this is the Jack of the Devils who will pass the puck instead of shooting it, and instead he just lasers it in behind Binnington, and a part of me was like, man, I'm really sad that Canada didn't win, but like, if I was going to be okay with anyone scoring an overtime goal against Canada, it was going to be Jack. And how can you not feel, and again, I'm a Canadian, right? How can you not feel patriotic even from another country, when you see Jack wrapped in the flag, teeth broken, blood coming out of his mouth, like he's on top of Mount Everest, celebrate? I mean, Quinn's right next to him. Like, this picture. Thank you. What a shot. How do you not feel a little patriotic when you see that? Even as a Canadian, I was like, damn. That's going to be the picture. That's going to be the Sidney Crosby leaping onto the boards after scoring the golden goal. This is going to be America's picture. They're going to hang on to for the next couple of decades at least.
Dude, I think Jack he'll be signing variations of this for the next 50 years. He'll be a 70-year-old man. Which, 100%. By the way, guys, this is on Fanatics for $99.99. Signed 16x20, hand signed. Yep. I just dropped the link in the chat for those interested. This is as soon as I saw this, I ordered a couple of them. This is the greatest under $100 item I have ever seen in 30 years of collecting sports memorabilia. The most iconic shot of our guy. Teeth busted 100%. With the flag, fist up. This is this is going to probably be one of the most iconic sports photos of the century
in recent American history. Yeah, absolutely.
I really think it is, and it's our guy, and he broke your heart. Link in the chat. Link in the chat to get your amazing Jack. Did it go in there? Yeah, it went.
No, it's there. It's there.
But what a photo! But man, listen, you guys have won enough, man. You've seen Canada dominate everything forever. I can't feel bad. Where'd you go?
I'm here.
Are you retrieving something?
I brought the Canadian flag.
Oh shit!
I brought the Canadian flag.
I met a lot of cool Canadians. I was sitting next to a cool Canadian dude at the game too.
Oh yeah.
He was very shell shocked after the game. He was in mourning, and I was like, "Listen, pal." I patted him on the back. I was like, "Listen, bud."
Watching the game was like that.
I was like, "You guys have won. You've won plenty.
Yeah,
you've won plenty. You've won plenty." So
we've had our fun. You guys get to have one, and then we'll go back to winning in 4 years. It'll be fine. It'll be all good.
Maybe you will.
Maybe we'll see.
I'm very excited, dude. I'm an Olympics junkie now. That was obviously my first time ever going to Olympic Games.
Yeah,
it's incredible, man.
Something
about it. It was so sick, and for Jack to score it, like I talked about potentially going for a very long time and had secured tickets, like some of the tickets and stuff ahead of time, like way in advance.
Right.
And I almost didn't go, and I'm glad I pushed through and went.
Good.
If I did not go and I was home watching that, the way the whole tournament went with them winning, and then for Jack to score, someone would have found me dangling with a rope. They would have found me because I would have not been. It would have been, dude. I would have been like, I was supposed to be there, and I wouldn't have been able to stay on Earth after that.
Oh yeah.
But what a phenomenal end! And I do think. Have you seen any of the interviews and stuff afterwards?
I've watched.
Dude, the McAfee one was insane. The McAfee one was so good. So good. One of the best Devils interviews, I think, of all time. But yeah, he's like a new guy now. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even the interviews after he's come back from Milano, he seems way more comfortable, way more confident, way more energized to actually sit there and take questions from media and happily answer them. It's really nice to see Jack. I mean, because he's not getting any confidence from playing on the Devils right now. It's just a fact of the matter, right? So seeing Jack get all the confidence from scoring the game-winning goal, the championship clinching gold medal goal, it was great. And again, wish Canada won, but if there was ever going to be a guy that was going to end it for the Americans, it was going to be Jack. And I was like, I think I can live with this.
So what do you think we see any young kids get looks down the stretch here? Like, are they still going to pretend like, oh, we're still making a run like this? I mean, the odds were ridiculously not in their favor before tonight, but obviously now it's like at some point, I mean, are they going to just keep this farce up until the mathematical elimination comes? Which might not be for a while, because the mathematical elimination is going to take a while. I
mean, personally, I think that there should have been huge line changes and huge roster moves after the 9-0 loss to the Islanders. The fact that Nico Dawes still hasn't played post the 9-0 loss. The fact that Casey has not come up to play, at least
Nico Dawes is gone, man. He's done. I mean,
yeah. And I don't blame him. You're not going to use me. Why am I here?
No, he's not going to sign here. He'll find a home for sure.
Yeah. No, I don't see any reason why there'll be any roster moves in terms of AHL guys coming up and playing. I was really excited when Haminaho got a chance and had a couple of games, and he actually scored goals and got points. And it wasn't a whole lot, but it was nice to see him, step into an NHL role and contribute a little bit. But no, I think that this is the sinking ship that we're all screaming out into the dark, hoping that there's a nearby ship to come, offer a little bit of support. I don't think, because again, you have a GM and you have an organization that, again, seemingly doesn't care. So why would they care enough to make any adjustments in any way, shape, or form?
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
What are your silver linings on the season, I suppose?
Silver linings on the season. Jake Allen continues to be one of the most consistent backup goaltenders in the NHL. Nemitz making really good strides forward in terms of proving his worth. I thought that Glass continues to be one of the only good moves that Tom Fitzgerald has done, maybe ever. I
like Brown too.
Brown's great. Brown's great.
Glass has been a monster. Glass has been a beast.
But I don't know what else I can say for silver linings. Nemo, Allen, Brown, Glass. I think that's it.
I throw Grits in there too, but yeah. I mean,
that's true. That's true. Grits as well.
It's just.
Speaking of Grits. Last game, not the Red Wings game, the game before. Watching Grits step up and just start mauling a guy like a mad lad. Oh, beautiful.
It was, right? Like, oh man.
I don't know why I didn't see it before. I didn't realize how bad that hit was until today when I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, holy, he got his rocked. And then Grits just from out of nowhere, leaping the guy and just started throwing hands. I was like, finally, somebody's going to step up. Somebody's going to show some heart. And of course, it has to be a rookie. It has to be a rookie that's going to spark the team. It's crazy.
I loved it. I think even wasn't he one of the first guys kind of in the mix when Jack got hit a few games back?
Yep.
I think he kind of grabbed some, but this was obviously way more aggression. But it was like, all right, show a little snarl.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been really
show a little spark. Let's go, throw some hands.
It's kind of been Dilly on that island by himself all season long, and the poor guy now he's like the referee's target. This guy can't breathe on somebody without getting called for a penalty. That one today was BS.
Dylan killed Cop today. That
Beautiful
one hit on the blue line.
Beautiful.
Oh, I saw that and I was like, man, what a doozy of a hit. Jeez.
I love Dilly. Good Canadian man. Yeah.
If Dilly can just stay out of the box, I think that's my only complaint. Is that like every game,
listen.
it's like 8 minutes of penalties. It's like, Dilly, I love you, and I love your aggression, and I love your hits, and that's why we brought you on. But like,
I don't think that one should have been a penalty, though. I feel like that was kind of a BS call.
It was. I'm not saying the hit itself was bad. I'm just saying that like every time I turn around, it's Dilly in the box.
Yeah, when was the last time we had a real fighting major? It's just everything sucks, man.
Line brawl against the Rangers last year.
No, they had to have at least they had a couple this year. Nothing good. But
that's the one that sticks. And you know what's hilarious? My family was in New York, and we were going to see the Devils the next day, and we were thinking about getting tickets because we were in New York, considering getting tickets to see that game, and we thought, oh, it's Madison Square Garden. Tickets are going to be crazy expensive. Let's just go to the one in New Jersey the next day. And the videos that came out, I was like, no, I can't believe I missed that.
My man Curtis McDermott getting it started.
Yeah. That was good times.
What do we got here? Let me see if we got anything interesting in the chat here.
Carcanes, maybe I am just now realizing how much of an idiot your GM is. Just now? Just now.
He's a Canes fan, obviously. Carson.
That's fair. That's fair. I shouldn't get mad. Their team is at least mildly successful.
Yeah, SJ, it's not even the cap hit. It's the endless no trade and no move clause. Yeah, I mean, listen, the back to Dougie, he's the one guy that I don't get mad about the no move clause because he was, if not the most coveted free agent overall, one of the top most coveted free agents overall, and certainly the most coveted D-man that summer that we did get him. Mm-hmm. So I fully get like why that was probably a mechanism of getting him to sign here, obviously paying the most money and the trade protection. So that one I don't blame Fitz for at all. Like I do defend Fitz way more than people may realize because of how not in favor he is with the fan base. I do feel like people try to like throw bullshit charges on him that like he shouldn't be getting, you know?
Yeah. No, I hear you.
That's one that I'm like, listen, you know, you're in the sweepstakes. You're trying to get this guy. Everyone's trying to woo him. You gave him the trade protection. I have no issue with that, but it's like pretty much every other one after that. It's like, did you really need to give that guy the money you gave him and the trade protection?
Yeah, one or the other would have been fine.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you got to give everybody the sun, moon, and the stars, but here we are. But honestly, even without it, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, he got handcuffed. Even if these guys didn't have trade protection, call me crazy. I don't think it would have changed shit. I don't think he would have traded anybody either way.
I agree.
So it's almost irrelevant. He's like, I'll give him trade protection because I'm not trading nobody.
Yeah. Like the thing is, and I was a really big Dougie guy for the first several years he was here. It's only been the last year or so that I've really soured on him. But when he first signed here, I was like, yo, this is a top defenseman in the league, a top D guy that's willing to come to New Jersey, a team that like everybody overlooks, and like for good and for bad reasons. It's whatever. We're New Jersey. We're not the Rangers. We're not the Leafs. We're not, you know, Vegas or any of these like high, really big cities, really big teams. So like him coming over and was willing to come play for New Jersey. And I do agree there's a lot of people that say he opened the door for other guys to start considering New Jersey as a potential landing target. And I appreciate that with Dougie. I appreciate the fact that he was one of the first ones to come on board and really buy into we're going to try to be successful here in New Jersey. It just hasn't panned out. And unfortunately, with Fitz giving him the amount of money that he did, and the trade protections, it's ended up screwing us in the long term. The problem is, I don't think Fitz has learned anything from this. So I think that the next really big guy that we get will probably be given a ton of money and more trade protections, and we'll be right back to square one again.
Yeah, but do you know how you make yourself a place people want to go? You win.
Yes.
You friggin' win.
Yes.
No matter what, you win. People want to come here. John Fay, Dougie still has 3. No, John, Dougie has 2 years left after this one. So he has 2 years after this and Dilly only has next year after this. So I don't know if you're counting this year as years left, but beyond this season, Dougie has 2 more years and Dilly has 1.
It's because whenever you go on these roster sites like Puckpedia and things like that, they count this year in their how many years they have left. So yeah, I get why John put it that way.
Ryan H said a good GM would have changed the identity of the core before the season started. Listen, I wouldn't have been against it, but I was willing to see this season out. And that's why, for those of you that remember, I made the video, I think it was in the summer, about The Last Dance, where I was like, this has to be it. Like, this probably will be the last time we see this group, as you know it, go into the playoffs, because we've just seen the same movie too many times. But as crazy as it is, we're going to obviously miss the playoffs this year, and it probably wasn't The Last Dance. Somehow it won't be the last dance. I included Dougie in the group, though, so I don't know. I'm very curious to see how that all plays out with Dougie. But I would not be shocked whatsoever if Dougie's back and Nemo's dealt. Because, I mean, I know you rather have Nemo, and I think everyone probably would. But what would your thoughts be on hanging on to Dougie if we dealt Nemo? Because I don't think it'd be a good idea to go forward without both of them.
I'm gonna try to be as objective as I can on this.
You really hate Dougie, huh? You hate Dougie.
I've so soured on him,
and he's a Canadian too. Look at you. Shame on you.
That to me means nothing. If you don't do your job, if you're a Canadian or an Argentinian, I don't care. You gotta go. How would I feel if both of them left?
How did Argentinian be the first thing that popped into your head?
I don't. I think I made an Argentinian joke like 2 days ago, and that's just my subconscious was just like, yeah, let's pop that out. Yeah, with both of them,
I think that'd be a grave mistake to not have either one.
It's probably not a good thing. But a part of me would be like, well, at least Dougie's gone. But no, again, I don't think if you're going to get rid of Nemitz, then I think the doors are open for everyone at that point to be on the chopping block. But if you get rid of Nemitz and not Hamilton, I might have a stroke, is all I'm going to say. So yeah, getting rid of both from a objective point of view is probably not a good thing.
I do think there's a scenario where, because of the trade protection, they can't find a home for Dougie, and then that combined with Nemo probably wanting more money than the Devils want to pay, I could see them doing the old sign and trade where they sign him to something they would have never wanted to pay, like 8 or 8.5, and trade him to a team that's more than willing to pay it and can fit him. I could totally see that happening. That's just the clauses cost us Quinn. I really believe that. Potentially, but even without the clauses, I think it all unfolded so quickly that Fitz wasn't going to be able to pull the trigger on moving the money out that it would have required to get Quinn. But I do think it's funny that there is still a contingency of folks that, because Fitz said, because they straight up asked him about, like, was it a cap space thing? And he straight up lied and said no, which clearly it was. The clauses may have come into play, but I do feel like Fitz probably got the call from Rutherford out of nowhere, like, it's time, buddy. Like, we're ready to unload Quinn. And he was like, what? Give me a minute. And then whatever he had planned on that he thought was going to materialize immediately, they were like, hold the phone, pal. We're not ready to take on Dougie just yet. You calm down. And then he was like, oh shit. And then he told Rutherford, give me 2 days. And he was like, nah, buddy, this is going out to the world now. And then Big Balls Billy G came swooping in and was like, oh, you need some pieces? I got some pieces. I got some cap space, and I got some pieces
in the world.
I'm ready. I'm open for business. And then he makes the deal and steals Quinn from us. And I think that's a wrap. I don't think Quinn's ever coming here. Car Canes, do you have a Fitz could have matched?
I can't let myself believe that.
What? What part?
That Quinn's never coming here. I will, as delusional as it may be, I'm never going to give up hope on Quinn coming here.
Oh, I'm never going to give up hope, just like I wasn't giving up hope on the Devils making the playoffs. But I think he ends up re-signing there this summer. Car Canes, to answer your question, by some reports, it certainly seemed as though the Devils and Canucks had a loose deal in place before it all fell apart with the cap space stuff. But I truly believe it was nearly a done deal, and then the cap space issue came to bite us in the ass, and then the siren kind of went out to other folks, whether it was multiple teams or just Guerin or whoever it was, and he swooped in and made it happen quickly. But for the people that want to say, oh, the Devils couldn't have matched the deal, there was a package in place that was very comparable to the Wild's package, and I don't even think that Rutherford and the Canucks were listening to or even talking to other teams before Fitz told them that he doesn't have the money. Because I think the one that everyone was reporting was, I think it was Nemitz. It was Nemitz a first, maybe Mercer and Salayev. I forget. Maybe Mercer wasn't in there. Maybe it was Nemitz a first, Salayev, and I forget. But those three pieces were definitely in there.
I mean, Mercer's another one that I think has to go at this point. I think he's been given.
Has to?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's been given a ton of leash. I think he's been given a lot of slack to show that he can, like, take it to the next year. And every single year, it's the same thing. Like, Mercer's fine for, like, a third line guy. But I think that when we initially drafted Mercer, I think the expectation there was that he was going to be a second line or potentially even like a first line guy if someone went down and you could fill him in. But he's not, like, his potential's always been here, but he's always played here. And, like, there's been moments where he looks really good and then he kind of falls right back to the standard.
I agree. I agree. I think he's a good third line guy. I do like him way more than other people just because he is an Iron Man. You can put him out there anytime. And to just kind of put it into perspective, he is only making $4 million.
That's true. That's true.
And I understand the disappointment of the first rounder, but, like, look at some of our other first rounders: Chase Stillman, Alex Holtz. Like, I'll take a guy like Mercer any day over those guys.
If we're gonna compare him to Holtz, I'll take Mercer every day.
Right. I do think there is a bit of a disappointment just because, what was it, his second season? He had that big year and everyone was like, oh, he's going to be a 70-point guy. And I think that's a function of fans having somewhat unrealistic expectations a lot with guys. And they just think that, because he did this year, then, he's going to continually improve. And it's like, that's not always the case. We did get a little probably, or at least myself, duped a little bit that I thought he was kind of turning the corner and becoming that legit top 6 guy earlier this season when he was averaging a point per game. And then, all the injuries happened and they shift him back to center and then everyone just fell off a cliff. And then it's like, okay, in the end, we're now talking about pretty much exactly what we've seen from him the past few years. I'm going to take a leak. I'll be right back. But answer David Austin, what player aside from Dougie or the Donov type do you want to see gone?
Just now I just said Mercer. I know me and Ace disagree on this one. I know there's been a lot of conversation about moving pieces of the core. So, guys like Heischer, Hughes, Bratt, Meyer, those kind of guys. I'm still really big on Bratt. I think this year has been an outlier for Bratt in a negative way. I still think it would be worth taking calls for Timo Meier. I understand everyone loves him. He's the power forward. He's physical. He gets in places where, guys like Jack aren't going to go. He's not going to go to the corners. He's not going to dig it out. But I think that for what we gave up and what we're currently paying for Meier, I don't think he's reached what I think we all wanted him to be, was to be this, 30, 40 goal scorer that you're going to be able to have consistently year in and year out. And there's been years, don't get me wrong, where he's gotten 25, 30 goals. The problem is that, like, he'll have like 15 goals. He'll have like 10 or 15 goals all season. And then March, he'll like score a bunch. He'll score like 10 or 12. And then his stats look good. And that, like, it's like 25 to 27 goals, but it's all being concentrated in one month. I just don't think that Meier has been the guy that I think we all wanted him to be when we initially got him. I know, again, I was psyched to have Timo Meier on the team. He's coming off a 40-goal season with the San Jose Sharks. He comes over. But if I were to move a core piece, I love Hischier to death. I don't think he should. I really don't think it would. I think it would be a mistake to give up Hischier. You're obviously not getting rid of Hughes. I'm still pretty high on Bratt. Of the four, I think Meyer would be the one that I would want to move. I wouldn't be like, yes, he's gone, but I'd be like, yeah, I think the Timo experiment hasn't quite worked in our favor, and I still think that he can go to a team and still contribute in a really good way, maybe with that team, to actually get something out of it.
Wait, so I was taking a leak and I could hear it pretty good. Did you also slander Keefe in that little rant there?
I did not slander Keefe.
Okay, I heard Keefe. I wasn't sure if you were an ant. Where are you at with Keefe kind of overall in this debacle of a season?
I have really mixed feelings about Keefe. I don't know what it has been about this year, and I don't think it's fair to put. I think that the players and Keefe probably share an equal amount of blame, maybe a little bit more on Keefe or the players, depending on the day, or depending on the game. Again, it was someone who was brought up in a Leafs household, so I got to watch a lot of games where Keefe was the coach of the Leafs, and I loved Keefe for the Devils. It doesn't feel like it's working out. And you know what? Maybe if we get a GM and the team takes off again, maybe, I end up being a little bit more higher on Keefe, but I sort of I'm not quite ready to be like, throw the man out with throw Keefe out with the baby in the bathwater. But I'm sort of being like, okay, like I'm willing to give Keefe some slack considering he's been successful everywhere else he's been. But like, if you have another year like this, I sort of have a feeling like, okay, we might have to move on from Keefe. I know, Ace, you've talked about how many coaches are we going to scapegoat before the players do something, and I get that, and I totally get that.
He's not taking these breakaways. He's not shanking shots wide.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's why, like, I'm not willing to throw the guy out or like, tie him to a scarecrow and put him out in the field or whatever it is. But like, I think that if we continue to have the kind of years that we have for the next like year or two, I think then it might be time to be like, okay, Keefe, we tried it. It didn't work out. Thank you for your service. It's time for you to go, kind of thing. But yeah, like I said, I'm willing to give him a little bit of slack because he's been successful everywhere else.
I'm in the same boat with that. I definitely blame Fitz the most. Then I go players, and I have Keefe last. Like there is it's not a coincidence, like you said, that he's literally made the playoffs everywhere he's ever coached, and his playoff streak will end with this 26 Devils team that once again has underachieved for the majority of their run under several different coaches. And so for me, when all these people are like, Keefe is the problem and run Keefe out of town, it's just something I can never be on board with, because at some point you just have to look at the players and be like, as a group, they are not getting it done, which leads us into Bobby.
I agree.
Thank you for the super, Bobby. Austin, no disrespect, but Brad has been significantly more of a disappointment than, I guess, is that supposed to be Timo?
Than
Timo. Majority of the year, Brad
no disrespect. It's but Brad isn't significantly more of a disappointment than Timo. Majority of the year, Brad is a ghost. I agree. Majority of the year, Brad has been a ghost. I'm looking at Brad over the last 4 or 5 years. I think that Brad has been arguably one of the most consistent players on this Devils team. I don't think that Timo has the same level of consistency that Brad does. Again, it's not to say that Timo's not a good player, and he's definitely been misused. I look back over the last 3 or 4 years at Brad, and I'm seeing him put up, 70, 80, 90 point seasons. And then I look at Meyer and I'm like, we'll be lucky if we can get 50 to 60 points out of this guy.
No, I could definitely understand that viewpoint, and I do love Bradder. My only thing is I do feel like he is a very similar player to Jack, and Timo does bring in that muscle that we don't have elsewhere. And I feel like if you get I want more guys like Timo. Obviously, I would love more production with that, but I feel like they do need some more of these guys that will engage in warfare hockey, and especially come playoff time if we could ever make it back. And I feel like getting rid of him would be a step backwards in that department. But I do love Bradder, and to your point of the consistency over the years, I've told people, I think if you said who is your best player over the past 4 or 5 years, I think you have to give it to Bratt just because he's played most of the games and he's damn near a point per game guy over that stretch coming into the season. So it's like the production is there. I have no idea what the hell happened to him this year. Shell of his former self. But that's everybody, right? It's like you look at everybody.
Everyone is what happened this year specifically. I mean, you look over you look at even last year, the year before that, when Jack inevitably got injured and he was out for 20 games. You saw Bratt step up huge. I think there was a period of like 15 to 20 games that he went down, and Bratt ended up with like 26 points in just that span of time. And I was like, thank God that we have a Jesper Bratt on the team who's willing to like take up the Jack Hughes vacuum spot that's no longer there because he's out again. And Bratt has stepped up. I just wish, and again, I love Hischier. But like, I wish that he could step up as the captain and take a more like cavalry charge lead. And there's been a lot of criticisms of Hischier not doing that, which I think are totally fair.
So interesting that you bring that up, because I was going to say there's been some people, someone wrote in one of my comments, and I think I've seen something else somewhere else. I don't think this would ever happen while Nico's still here. But would you ever consider, while Nico's still here, giving the C to Jack?
No, I don't think I would.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. I think Jack is easily the obvious next captain will be Jack at some point.
Most likely.
But I personally would never strip Nico of the C. I think it's psychotic. But there's people talking about it as if like they actually think there's a chance it could happen. I could never see it whatsoever. I think that's just poor everything from an organizational standpoint. People are like, oh, they did it with Tavares and Matthews, and it's like,
and look how well that went.
I was gonna say I hate to bash the Leafs, but it just does seem like they're cursed and certainly are dysfunctional at this point. I would never want to see that, and we've seen that happen previously with Patrick Elias, which I was not a fan of when that happened either, and I thought that was just in very poor taste.
Yeah,
and I think it kind of maybe soured Patty on the organization a little bit, because I do think it was just a very weird thing to do.
One of the best things that I've seen Nico Hischier do so far as his tenure as captain was this year when you had the game where Luke got basically booed out of the building, and the media came for Luke afterwards and was like, we're going to ask him these questions. And Luke is a wreck. He's a mess in the locker room. Like, some of the pictures came out, like the guy's like crying because he knows he's screwed up. He knows that he should have been better, because I know they all hold themselves to a high standard. And Nico Hischier came out when the reporters were like trying to get to Luke and was like, I'm going to answer your questions. I'm going to take whatever it is you guys want. As the captain, I'm going to be the leader, and when Luke is ready to answer your questions, he will come to you when he is ready. He just got booed in his own building. Give the guy a second. I will deal with you until he's ready. And I thought that was like, I love that. That was such captain material of like, hey, one of your guys, one of your young guys specifically, is taking a shit ton of heat from fans, not only in the building, but fans online. And he stepped up to like, I don't want to say protect or shield the guy from criticism, because he wasn't. Luke ended up taking questions afterward, but was like, dude, give him a second.
No, he went to the front lines. I like that too.
I love that. I thought that was peak captain behavior. I love that.
And credit to Luke for
demanding.
Because a lot of guys wouldn't have done that. Even veteran players would have been like, I'm not dealing with this shit. But he was like, I'll go out there and face it, and he did.
Speaking of the Leafs from before, you don't see Austin Matthews doing that this year. When the Leafs are the worst they've been in almost 10 years, I don't see Austin Matthews out here taking rapid fire, heat-seeking missiles from the press. It's always somebody else, and that was Tavares. I gotta stop because I have a whole issue with Toronto right now, and I gotta calm down.
The media in Toronto is a different animal than in New Jersey.
Savages.
It's wild.
It's at the gate.
It is not even the same.
We have some of the worst media here in Toronto covering them because they are like wild animals that, like, the minute some guy like even puts a toe out of line, the reporters are there like starving animals on raw meat. Like the Toronto media is insane. And I wish I had a stronger word for it, but no, some of the Leafs media is super, super cringe. And I kind of hope that they run out of town Austin Matthews and every talented player on that Leafs roster so that all the rest of the Leafs fans can wallow and suffer with what's left. I really hope it happens.
It's another wild pipe dream, but what would you think about Austin Matthews potentially to the Devils?
With what cap space?
Well, let's just assume that they figured that out.
Assuming they do? I don't know. If Austin Matthews can return to scoring 40 goals a season, I'll take him. But some of and again, I don't know what's happened to the Leafs this year, but like halfway through the season, guy had 12 goals. This is a guy who had 70 one year. Like you have to have Matthews being consistently good as he can be, year in, year out, game in, game out. It would be, as a pipe dream, that'd be kind of cool. Again, you could have the Austin Matthews, Jack Hughes reunion from the American gold medal team. That'd be kind of cool. It really depends on which Austin Matthews I'm getting.
Interesting. I would like to see it. I would like to see any big splash that I think would kind of benefit from a change of scenery. And I think he's the type of guy probably, and there was reports that he told Toronto he wants to stay, even if there's a rebuild or whatever the hell they're doing. But I think that's a guy that certainly probably would benefit from getting out of the pressure cooker that is Toronto and kind of getting a change of scenery. And I could see him being a very good Devil too. But again, we have the guy running the ship that we have. I can't see anything remotely like that. But we got Ryan H. Thank you for the super excited American Swagger T-shirt in gray for summer. And listen, folks, this thing's getting shut down. American Swagger. I'm so sorry to do it to you, Austin. This beautiful gold medal, but check this. You're gonna really like the back. American Swagger was Sullivan's motto, but the back has Billy Guerin's, and that's whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Look at that jersey in the Eagle's mouth.
Look at that eagle.
You like that?
Oh no, it's the Canadian jersey. No,
the Canadian jersey, my guy. Whatever it takes.
You can't do that to me, Ace. You can't do that to me.
American Swagger apparel. I'll drop the link. I'm probably going to shut it down tomorrow. Appreciate everybody who ordered. And like I said, I'm going to include a special little something in there. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you'll find out when you get your package in a few weeks, whatever it is. There's going to be something very cool and extra in there for everyone's order. So appreciate you guys. Link in the chat. I just dropped it again. American Swagger, multiple colors, champion garments. This is not crap. This is champion hoodies and t-shirts. All right, we got put Timo on right wing and power play one. It's so simple. We've talked about this all year. I completely agree. The improper usage of my man Timo Meier that you're trying to push out of here. Jason Nelson, we become way softer without Timo, and that's my issue. I think this team is way too soft as it is today. Trading, you saw Timo tonight. He was in the mix all over the place, smashing guys.
Question, and that was great. I thought it was like, there it is. There's the power forward I want. Thank you.
But I also think you need other guys that do that shit too, because everyone feeds off each other. When you're the only guy doing it every night, I don't know. I just feel like it just becomes like, and the team sucking probably doesn't help. Obviously, you don't want to think that guys aren't playing as hard or whatever, but like I can't imagine being a professional athlete going out there and, I guess being on level 100 and playing that type of game when this is a meaningless game, and it's unfortunate. All right, let's see what else we got here. We need Timo. Doug says no coach is fixing this current roster. I completely agree with that. Jason, no, not putting Timo on the power play kills his goal scoring numbers. I completely agree with that as well. I mean, when you go and trade for a guy that had constant success on the power play and the right wing in San Jose, why on earth you would think to bring him here and be like, let's put you on the left wing and not give you power play time?
I agree. And you know what? If they use Timo, this is why I said, if Timo was used properly, I'd probably change my mind. Not probably, I would change my mind. But as he's being used right now, if this is how we're going to use him, send him somewhere where he's going to get used properly. Because at what point do you just feel bad for like the player who's clearly being like mismanaged?
SJ says, agree. Our core is too similar, need more Timo-like players. My man Travelin says they stripped the C from Nico and he was definitely out the door. I agree
100%.
with that. I agree with that. Backs and racks. Nobody is scared or respects Swiss hockey players, so Nico shouldn't be captain. That's why the Devils suck. I mean, I think that's
a take. That's a take.
I think that's certainly a hot one. I mean, why
that's
does
a
that?
take.
I think Nico is actually pretty well respected around the league, whether you prefer a different style of captainship, I'll say. I mean, that's a different issue, but I don't think it's a function of people not respecting Swiss hockey players. I certainly think Nico is very well respected around the league, but I do also understand the people that do want to see more of that rah, let's go crack skulls kind of captain. But players have consistently talked about how, guys lead in different ways and not every guy's going to have to lead like that and blah, blah, blah. I would prefer that if I'm being honest. I mean, listen, I grew up watching Scott Stevens. So, when you come up with a guy like that, it was an adjustment period for me to get used to Nico as well. But I certainly love Nico.
Yeah.
And hope that he does stay here and that we get the right pieces around these guys. But we got Martinelli's. Lindy won the coach of the year and got fired the next. Did he lose his coaching ability in 1 year? What do you got on that?
I mean, I know a lot of people say that like, oh, looking back, hindsight's 2020. We shouldn't have gotten rid of Lindy. But like at the time, Lindy sort of had to go. Like it just something had to happen. And Lindy was a casualty of war, unfortunately. So am I glad he's having success elsewhere in the league? Sure, I'm glad. And I hope the Buffalo Sabres reach an Eastern Conference final this year because that would be so cool to see. But, he's just, like, again, Lindy, I think eventually if you go through, if you're having a bad time, the coach is usually the first one to go. If it continues to happen to several coaches, you start to get the idea that, hey, maybe it's not the coach. Maybe we should stop throwing them under the bus.
I liked Lindy a lot. That year, people were calling for his head super early.
Mm-hmm.
I was not one of those people. I did think at the time it was like one of those things, like you said, like a casualty. Like I wasn't like hating on the guy or anything. It just seemed like this whole kind of thing has run its course. And unfortunately, you are going to be a victim of the circumstance.
Yep.
But there are a contingency of people now that I think like, oh, we would never have been in this position if we never got rid of Lindy. And it's like, I hate to say it.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think it's true at all. And I do think as time goes on, and it kills me to say it, that the folks that said the 22-23 season was a complete fluke were absolutely correct. It was. The 22-23 season was an outlier. I do believe it was just lightning in a bottle. We caught teams off guard. The playbook wasn't out there on how to shut them down, and we just ran teams over, and they couldn't stop the transition offense and the speed. Then, after teams saw it a few times live, and now there's tape, everyone's like, okay, well, this is what they're doing. This is what we have to do to shut it down. And the smart teams employ strategies to clog up the middle of the ice, take that away from them, and then beat up on them a little bit, obviously. And then as that game kind of goes on, the Devils never find that B or C game to generate anything, and they just kind of wither and die. And it's like, yeah, you shut that down, and they kind of just, that's it. That's all they got.
Yeah. But then I think, and I'll say this to play, devil's advocate here. I think that like if you have a year that's as successful as you do, and then the next year and you're right, Ace, when you've got teams looking at tape and they're like, okay, we know how to shut them down. Just put a big body on the blue line and hit them as hard as you possibly can to slow them down. Eventually the coach, in this case, Lindy, has to then turn to his guys and go, hey, the strategy we used last year isn't working. We got to come up with something new because we can't just do the same thing over and over again and hope for a different outcome.
I do think to some extent, they kind of became one-trick ponies.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's what happens, in my opinion, when you have several guys that play a similar game that don't want to do the dirty, the dirty work, if you will.
The gritty corner kind of stuff.
Yeah, like we just need a cut. And dude, that's why. Where are you at, homie? Pull this up. Bobby, thank you for the super. Just ordered 2 sweatshirts. Do I get an ace autograph? I don't know if you're serious.
Do it.
That wasn't.
Do it.
But that definitely wasn't part of it. But if you're serious about that,
get some permanent marker.
You could certainly get that if you'd like. All right, let's go back here. We got the Toronto media like a pack of lions ready to pounce on prey.
Absolutely.
SJ, they cannot move anyone and get another script player to add to the core. So this is an interesting point SJ brings up, because I had said this before. I do think this core could win if you somehow could add another big piece on top of them. Now, who that is and how you go about doing that cap-wise, I've always said, if that was possible, then I think this core could win. But I think they're missing like another guy for like the big 5. Mm-hmm. But with the cap space, I don't know how you do that now. And I wouldn't like to see this either, because I do once a problem area is fixed, I never like to kind of go back and like recreate that problem. And the defense had that brutal year in 23-24 after we lost Graves and Severson. Obviously, an adjustment period. Nemo and Luke were playing a ton. Then it kind of got figured out for last year, and you're like, okay, this D is pretty damn solid. We brought in Pesci, Dilly, Kovacevic. It was like, all right, Luke took a little step forward. Like, these guys look like this is a solid D core. But just doing some quick kind of math in the head, in a world with the cap going up, if they did not have Dougie or Nemo, that is a good amount of money freed up to play elsewhere. And I'm not suggesting they do this or saying this is a great idea.
Yeah.
Because I do believe they are 2 of our 3 best offensive defensemen. But in a world where you don't have either one of them, because Nemo's going to get, let's just round down and say $7 million. I think he'll probably end up getting closer to 8. But let's just say he's $7 million and Dougie's $9 million. That's $16 million.
Yeah.
That, obviously there's going to be some other moving parts too. There could be a forward or 2 that's dropped off or traded, and however it shakes out. But on paper, you would think that would give you the firepower financially to add another kind of big time forward on top of the guys we have now.
Well, this is what I was saying a couple months back, is that like, if you moved just Dougie Hamilton and one other guy that was making like $4 million, you got $13 million to play with. That's at least 2 guys that you can add to the forward depth to increase your firepower. You can get a $7 million dude and a $6 million, or an 8 and a 5. Like, you can go out and do something, but Tom's unwillingness to do anything for fear of, I don't know, he just doesn't. And that's what's so infuriating, is that like, there are solutions to the mess we're in, but nobody seems to want to have the balls to actually do anything about it.
Yeah, you got to be in it to win it. Being that you're in Toronto, this is because this was a big chatter kind of point on deadline day. My man Jay Snow says, bring Nyes to New Jersey. What are your thoughts on Nyes?
I love that. I think Nyes is great. I think that Nyes is great on Toronto. And I think that if New Jersey, I think that if Toronto is moving toward a retool, not a full-on like rebuild, but a retool, I could see Nyes being a casualty of that. It would have to take a lot to get him. Maybe we dangle the, hey, remember when Dougie Hamilton was supposed to be a Leaf kind of stuff? But like, I think Nyes would be great. I think if you could add Nyes for like $6 to $7.5 million a year, I take that. I'd add Nyes. You put that on the second line. You bump him up to first if Jack goes down again. I don't see any reason as to why Nyes wouldn't be a great addition for the Devils. And again, and he's another guy, sorry to keep going, but like, he's another guy that's willing to get scrappy. He's a guy that's willing to like, I'll punch you in the face if I have to. There was a moment, I can't remember if it was this year or last year, where I can't remember who it was. It was Nyes and somebody else, and they were just bad-mouthing each other before the face-off. And Nyes just jumped him right off the bat. And I was like, yo, Nyes doesn't give a single shit. He will punch you in the face if he needs to. And you know what? If you could have like Nyes on one side, Meyer on the other side, and like Jack in the middle, you don't even need to worry about Jack's health because Nyes alone will stare at you and will make people want to leave Jack alone.
He's got 5 more years at 7.75. Would you have done? People are throwing out hypothetical trades. Would you have traded like Nemo a first and something else to get him?
I really like Nemo. His stock for me has gone up so much this year. Nemo a first and something else. If I'm gonna have to give up 3 things, I would see if I could do Nemo a second and maybe like a 5th. But like, if I'm gonna give up Nemo and a first, that's all you're.
But you have to keep in mind there is tremendous value in him being locked up for 5 years at 7.75.
There is. There's a lot of value.
This summer, I think we're going to see insane deals where you're like, what? When you look at these guys that were signed before, even Dougie, I think at $9 million, feel like those contracts terrible. I never thought it was terrible even before the cap went up. I would say, it's definitely a little bit of an overpay for what he was bringing. Mm-hmm. But now with the cap going up, like I said before, in a world where he was available and Fitz had his name out there, mm-hmm. If he had no trade protection, I think it would have been super easy to trade him at his full cap hit. I think that many teams would have found the $9 million value for him.
There's a lot of teams that had a ton of cap space, so it is what it is.
We're scrolling down here. We got hit the like button. Thank you. Hit the like button.
Yeah, guys, go do that if you haven't already.
We got Amagi. Austin, what's your pipe dream player for the Devils? Like how Ace would love Brady / Tage. Those are my top 2. Like realistic or somewhat, I'm not gonna go, McDavid and McKinnon. So like I'm giving it like, the tier down of like this is maybe based on
reality. You're trying to be reasonable.
Even though the Tage thing started, months ago when Buffalo sucked and there was like some probably BS rumors out there, but like, oh, maybe Buffalo. And I was like, they make this dude available, I'm all in on him. But yeah, those would be my guys. And then he said, love meeting you at the Rock. Who would your guys kind of be for that?
I'm gonna give you the unreasonable one, and then I'm gonna give you the reasonable one.
Okay.
The unreasonable one, give me Macklin Celebrini.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean,
give me Macklin Celebrini.
At this point, that might be more unrealistic than McDavid because of how young he is and everything.
True. That's the unreasonable. The reasonable one, I would love a guy like Igor Shesterkin. I think he's one of the best.
Whoa, I didn't see that coming.
I really like Igor Shesterkin. Don't get me wrong. I hate the rags. It is what it is. I would love to see a guy like Igor Shesterkin in a Devils uniform. I think that if you build the appropriate defense around Shesterkin, I think you potentially see like 1.8 goals against average, like 915 to 924 save percentages out of Shesterkin. He's such a good goalie. The only issue is like I think he's getting paid like $11 to $13 million a year. He has a crazy cap hit, but I'd love to see Shesterkin as a New Jersey Devil. I think he's fantastic.
Uncle Lou always said you build the team from the net out.
Damn straight.
And a few summers ago, there was those Hellebuck rumors. And me and my buddy, Steve the Maniac, shout out to Steve the Maniac. When that came out, we were salivating. And at the time, I believe he was either going to be, I think he was going to be an unrestricted free agent, or I can't remember. I feel like he was getting a new contract. And the rumor was like he wanted $8 million. And I remember people being like, how insane is it to pay a goalie $8 million? And it's like, fast forward, dude, Hellebuck is an absolute legend now, despite his struggles in Winnipeg. Mm-hmm. That gold medal game is one of the greatest goaltending performances I've ever seen of all time. And $8 million for Hellebuck versus we literally just extended Jacob Markstrom for $6 million. And so who was going to tell me you would not rather have Hellebuck for $2 million more? I mean, that's another one when you look back. And who even knows how credible those rumors were? But I feel like multiple people were reported that the Devils were interested. I was geeking out because I'm like, I'm a Lou Lamoriello kid. You build from the net out, even on bad teams. When you have a guy like that, you're in it every night. And look at the Islanders. I'm not saying they're a bad team, But
Sorokin's beautiful.
They are where they are, largely in part to the strong goaltending play of Ilya Sorokin, and that's what these top guys do. They're X factors. They could steal you games, and in the playoffs, they could steal you series.
100%.
And that's why when that came up, I was like, please, and especially after years of shit goaltending, constant carousel of these journeyman guys, and since Marty, outside of the 2 years or so of strong Corey Schneider play on some shit Devils teams, we had no goalies remotely even worth talking about.
No.
So when they started talking about Hellebuck, I was salivating.
Lore for the Devil's Den channel. I remember it was either my first or second year making videos, and it is to this day probably my biggest screw up. Hellebuck became available, and there were conversations about the Devils getting him, and I remember recording videos where I was like, hard pass, Chief. I'm good with Hellebuck. Guy does well in the regular season, can't get it done in the playoffs. I'm good. The following year, Ace, he won the Vezina. It is, to this day, my biggest fagoof, my biggest blunder on the Devil's Den channel. You can still go back and find it, where I was like, nah, I'll pass on Hellebuck. He can't get the job. Next year wins the Vezina. I was like, you know what? I was wrong. And then he wins gold. And then he does the bullshit stick save to win gold. And I'm like, all right, there it is. All right, it's fine.
David Chimes says, Austin Ace, how do you feel about the analytics department guy who put Deep, and I believe this is true, this is how this happened, I do think, who put Timo on left wing because of expected goal differential?
I don't have much patience for the analytical side of the game. I understand it can be important, but like if you're making a decision not based on what you see, but based on like, well, he's got 2.26% on this. If he's not scoring, who gives a damn?
I'm with you entirely.
Expected goals or this expected goals or how many he's actually putting in the net. There's a canyon of difference here.
I've been super down on analytics since their rollout. Like, listen, I think they have a place, and like it's good to have it as a reference thing. But when it's the primary driving factor in big time decisions and personnel things, like I just think it's nonsense. And when you do see these things, oh yeah, he had this many expected goals and blah, blah. And it's like, well, over the course of those 10 games, he had, 6 expected goals, but he scored 0. Like at this point, like I don't care about expectations. Reality matters. And what was the actual production? And I do think there's a large contingency of fans and media that have gotten kind of sucked into this whole thing too, where it's like, these analytics worshipers like, oh, all this thing. And it's like, at some point, you need to look, I think, way beyond that, because there is other elements here that these analytics are not accounting for whatsoever.
I think one of the ones that set me off the most, that made my blood boil the most, is well, I understand your team lost, but if you played that game 100 times, you'd win 85 out of 100 games. It's like, I don't care if we would win 85% of the time. Did we win tonight? No, then it doesn't matter to me. There's so many times like, well, we really pushed them to their limits. We had 40 shots on net. How many went in? Because if none of them go in, you lose. It doesn't matter how many shots go in until, and I was saying this even a year ago, where it was like, oh, well, at least I had, 40 shots on net. But it's like, you're right. If nothing goes in, I don't care how many shots you had. You don't win hockey games. And that is, at the end of the day, that's what we're all looking for. If you can't win games, adios.
We got Nico is not leaving. You guys are lost.
Agreed. Nico's not leaving.
Whoa, I'm not saying he is, but to think that the notion is insane, I think is insane, because the guy clearly wants to win. And if you're being honest, you just sat here and bashed Fitz for a good 15 minutes at some point, did you not?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Okay. And it was all, I will say it was all valid criticisms.
Yeah.
Now, do you honestly believe that Nico Hischier doesn't think the same exact shit that you said? And now you take it to the next step, probably. And now you're like, okay, I'm almost 30 years old. All these other teams will give me the same money or more.
Mm-hmm.
I could potentially live in a place that he might like better, but it could be irrelevant. But in the end, go to a team that is way better suited to win and not have to deal with the pressure of being like one of the main guys like he does here, because I do think that was also very rushed as well. He was the #1 pick. They were looking for the face of the franchise. They gave him the C. It all kind of got sped up. And I think also with that came heightened expectations and maybe some of them being unrealistic at the time. But how could that not be a tempting thought process if you're Nico, looking at everything that has happened over the past few seasons here?
Honestly, for me, it really depends on how much he loves playing here. I think that if you surround him, I think that even if the team wasn't successful, but he was surrounded by guys that like he's come up with, that he's really close to, that he loves playing for the city of New Jersey. Like when Jack gave his center ice speech after the first or second game after coming back from the Olympics, saying how much he loves playing in New Jersey. I think that he definitely wants to win, but I don't know if just not winning would be enough to drive him out. I really don't know.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'll use John Tavares as an example. John Tavares loves the city of Toronto. It's his boyhood dream. He's always wanted to play in Toronto. You know, everyone shows the picture of him as a kid in bed in his Toronto Maple Leaf pajamas and Toronto Maple Leaf sheets in bed or whatever. He truly bleeds blue, right? I think that even if the Toronto Maple Leafs aren't successful until he retires, I still think he'll stay in Toronto, even if the team is bad, because that's how much he loves the city. And if Nico loves the city even half as much as John Tavares loves Toronto, I think that even if the team isn't successful, he'll want it to be. But I don't know if not winning will be enough to drive him out.
So good point on Tavares, but the difference is Nico had played for a youth team when he was younger that was like the Devils. So there's like a picture of him as a kid with a Devil jersey on.
Yeah.
But he was not a hardcore Devil fan. He was not sleeping in Devils pajamas and Devils sheets. And so for a guy like Tavares, I could totally see that. He grew up right over there too, right?
Yeah. He was born and raised in Toronto.
Yeah. So, you know, for a kid to grow up there in a hockey hotbed and all the shit, like that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But if you're a Swiss kid who wants to win something, I can't see him having the same level of, undying allegiance to New Jersey just because they drafted him. I could be wrong, but it does seem like he does want to win. And I think the constant kind of just stagnation or stagnation at best, it's honestly been regression, I think, is probably getting to him. And I think he will see destinations that are way ahead of us in terms of competing for a cup. And he's like, why am I going to stay here and not win when I could go somewhere else and win? And I hope you're right. Yeah. I just don't think it's anywhere near the same level of, affiliation or whatever as JT with the Leafs.
No, I get that. But I think it's the same reason that William Nylander has stayed with the Leafs for as long as he has. I mean, I'm sure if you're going to tell me that William Nylander doesn't want to win, of course he wants to win. They all want to win. And yet time after time after time, he has stayed. He stayed with the Leafs. Again, I could be wrong. He could leave. I don't know how much he will.
Also, as some of the downfalls of playing in Toronto with like the media and all that, there is nothing like being a guy like one of them playing in Toronto. You're a rock star god, are they not?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so some people probably like that too. In New Jersey, on the flip side, very different. Most of these guys could go about their daily lives, go to the supermarket, and no one knows who the hell they are. Back in the day, a lot of the old school Devils enjoyed that. They didn't, and some of them had played in kind of hockey crazed markets before, and they're like, "Yo, it's pretty cool in New Jersey. It's low key. I could kind of go about my business and not be hounded or bothered or whatever, like I was in Montreal or Detroit or Chicago, whatever." So it's kind of like, what are you looking for? But it does seem like Nylander likes to, he embraces that kind of rock star persona.
Keep going. I just gotta plug my my laptop in here. It's
plug it in. Chowski's Nemo and Brat for a major addition. I wouldn't be against that. like we said before, if somehow they could make the cap space to add another big time piece on top of the core, that'd be great. But I just don't see mathematically how it's going to happen. People are reacting to Igor. Bobby says, I say we keep Nemo and trade Luke Casey in a second for Nyes. They're never trading Luke, Bobby.
No, they're not getting rid of
Luke.
They're not getting rid of Luke.
They still honestly, I think, believe in their heart of hearts that they're going to land Quinn. I hope they do. I just personally cannot see it.
If Luke leaves, you can kiss Quinn goodbye. There's no reason for him to come here.
I just, it's just not even a remote possibility to me.
No, I agree.
We'll talk about it. Chowski says, giving up on Schmid that early is disgusting work by Fitzy. Oh, he's a forever legend on this channel. You guys know me and Akira Schmid, the only guy not named Martin Brodeur. Let this soak in.
Win a playoff series.
The only guy not named Martin Brodeur to win a playoff series for your New Jersey Devils in the past 30 some odd years. 32 years, I think. Completely insane. Let that sink in. The only netminder in 32 seasons that was not the great Marty to bring home a playoff series dub for the New Jersey Devils. It's honestly mind-boggling.
It's crazy. But somebody, again, I think that Schmidt is one of those pieces. On
Wait, I have to pull a prop that I don't think I've ever showed now. Hold on.
Do it.
I gotta pull a prop.
Oh boy, what's he gonna pull out? Oh boy. I'm very curious as to what this man brings out. Ace has gone into the bedroom to get his New Jersey Devil prop.
No, it's not my bedroom. I don't have devil shit in my room. I'm not a weirdo like that. It's all in the office. But I was sorting some stuff the other day. I don't know if I've ever shown this before. I may have a while back. But this is a ticket from Game 7.
Beautiful.
I got to angle it with the light. Oh, shit. I can't. Stanley Cup playoffs, New Jersey Devils, round 1, home game 4, which is Game 7, Prudential Center, May 1st, 2023. And I did get this signed by Akira Schmid with the shutout inscription.
That's so cool.
Akira Schmid, I have the photo of him with the famous photo of him from the end as well.
That's
hard
awesome.
to get shit focused with the lighting in here and stuff. But yeah, Akira Schmid Game 7 ticket with the shutout inscription. This will forever be a reminder of that nice season and that nice run. And obviously beating the Rangers anytime is grand.
Beating the Rangers in Game 7.
Beautiful. I was there for that. It was nice.
Pure cinema.
One of the top, I guess it's got to be, I mean, people would rank it differently, right? Depending on your thing. I would put it at, I have to go third most important Prudential Center moment in the new arena. I have number 1 firmly Henrique. Henrique, it's over, has to be number 1.
Yep.
And then for me, Marty 552 breaking Patrick Waugh's record will be number 2. I would put this at number 3, even though some people would probably put this over 552. I can't, just because in the end it was, a nice victory over the rivals. Then we got smacked in the second round, so it wasn't like they went on to win the cup. Then it would have more significance.
Right.
But nonetheless, one of the best moments in the new building, and there hasn't been many of them. But yeah, I mean, Akira Schmid, what are his? I've been meaning to look at his numbers for a while.
Hold on, I got a prop for you as well. Hold on,
Ooh, the save percentage isn't great.
All right, so this was given to me as a gift by a very good friend of mine. This is an official game puck.
Wait, hold on. I can't see it yet. Hold on.
Hold on.
You can show them, but just make sure you don't pull it off, because I'm clipping a graphic here.
Hold on. I gotta check it closer. And then it's got. Actually, I'll wait till Ace turns around or Ace looks up.
Oh, dude, my freaking mouse is now on the fritz. When it rains, it pours. What the hell happened? Did this thing die?
I don't think so.
No. I don't know. All right, go ahead.
AC falling apart.
No, I was, but I recovered.
This is a official game. Well, wasn't actually used in the game, but this is one of the game pucks they did have. This is from Broder's Hockey Hall of
very
Fame,
nice.
Class 2018, and then on the back it's got all of his stats from his career.
691, man. If he just accepted the backup role, he would have definitely hit 700 as a Devil, and those
100%.
St. Louis Blues photos would never exist.
100%.
It's painful. All right, so we're talking about Schmid real quick. I had to do a little,
Yeah.
a little clippage. So Akira Schmid on the season played in 32 games. He started 28. He's 16, 9, and 6, 261 goals against, and an 893 save percentage with two shutouts. So not stellar, but not like terrible.
Not
but
the
yeah,
worst kind of numbers you've seen.
I'm curious to see kind of what the future holds for him.
Right.
You got any other cool show and tell items?
Let's see what else I've got. I've got a pull these two out. Why not? So I've got one of these small little Stanley Cup with the Devils on it.
Is that the Labatt one?
Yep.
Nice.
And then I have a reproduction of the 2003 Stanley Cup ring. I know my camera is not great.
Yeah. It's hard to get stuff in focus.
Yeah. And it's got like all of which teams they played, the score, and all that kind of stuff. So this is my biggest one. It's like I said, it's not an actual, it's a reproduction, but absolutely love that. So I got it off in a little corner in a little like glass case and everything. But yeah.
Everyone's bashing the owners in the chat.
I mean, bash away. It's not as if it's undeserved.
Car Kane says, if you want to change, stop giving money to delusional owners. The thing is, there's never going to be enough people to do that. I do think there's a ton of people that attend games regularly that are somewhat in the dark about, the reality of what's going on. Unfortunately, it is what it is. There's going to be some season ticket drop-offs this year, I'd imagine, for sure.
I would hope so.
I think there will be. Chowski says the only thing changing the Devils are ownership. And that's like the one that really depresses me, because it's like, are we doomed as long as they are here? Because if that's the case, like that's brutal.
Yeah. And it's really hard to get rid of.
Don't worry, Ace. When we get McKenna, you're going to love this team. Souk, making playoffs 3 times in the last 13 years is the epitome of failure and content with being a loser franchise. I agree with that. This organization has adopted a loser mentality, and I think it really started with being okay with missing the playoffs in 23-24 and just punting the season away.
Agreed.
When we were drowning with horrific goaltending. Like, were we going to win the cup? No, but just go get any mediocre NHL goaltender earlier on in the season. I think we could have made the playoffs, and I think that would have been huge for the team's confidence. Instead, they follow up a record-setting season with mid-April golf, and it's just been a shit show ever since. Ace has a warehouse of gems.
Oh, I believe it.
Something like that. Eventually, I made a couple videos a while back. They were pretty bad too. It was early on, but like, I don't know. Most people don't care to see it. So like, and I don't really care about that, but it's just hard. Like the effort that goes into making stuff, like if no one's going to care, it just makes it easy to be like, I'm lazy, Carkins, keep filling the owner's pockets with bands and nothing will change. It's better to take a risk at change by saving your money. I haven't been to a game in a very long time outside of the Johnny Mac Ring of Honor, because I'd planned to go to that from the day they announced it. Like the historic nights, I'll never miss that.
Yeah.
But outside of that, the last game I was at before that was probably in Dilly's 1000th game, probably.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I said it after the 9-0 game. If this is gonna be how it's gonna be, then stop going to games, stop giving them your money, stop buying jerseys, stop buying everything. If you could even affect like the gift shop numbers, I'll take that as a win, because like there's like if people just stop going to the games, if they are legitimately discontent with the way that things are, which a lot of us are, then I think eventually consumers have to be like, no, we're good. We're not going to give you any more of our money until you do something.
It's the only way to bring about change. I just unfortunately don't think there'll ever be enough people for it to really be felt. Justin says, I got a picture of me and Brian Gianto with the Stanley Cup. That's a really cool one.
That's so cool.
Love Gio. Gio, pound for pound, Gio is one of the toughest players in franchise history.
Yeah, I love Gianta.
David Chime says, Schmid's advanced stats near NHL average. Every other Vegas goalie been stinking it up this season. Knights are not all that good this year. Doug has a favorite all-time Devil. For me, it's Parise. I'll let you go first. I mean, I think most people here know mine.
Top 3, Brodeur, Eliage, Parise. Easy.
Marty, Eliage, Parise. My trinity would be Marty, Stevens, and Dano.
Fair enough.
Elias would probably be 4. We got Suk says we're doomed for as long as they are here. What's going on, Maria? They make their money off the major sponsors and advertisers. That's definitely one of the revenue streams, but I think the tickets definitely are pretty substantial part of the pie as well. World's Worst Gamer says we are winning 4 of our next 5 for sure. I have no idea what would make you so confident in that.
You know what? I have to say, I really love it whenever people leave comments and they're like, don't worry, guys. We still got this. I don't know what's happening with my camera all of a sudden. Jesus. Hold on. What? Are we okay today? Like, it's fine. It'll come back into focus eventually. I love all the people that still have hope. I really do.
I don't think they understand the math of it. I'm not trying to be a downer here, but the math is the math.
No, but even if you don't have, even if you know the math, even if you know it's not a possibility, it's kind of nice because, like, right now, I think we're all like, this season's done. We're not going anywhere.
I've been there.
It's kind of nice to have people that are like, guys, it's okay. We can still do it. I promise. Keep that positivity. Keep that positivity, please, because we're all doomers at this point.
In the last week of March, when we're mathematically eliminated, people are going to still be like, no, they did it wrong. They did it wrong. They can still do it. They can still do it. Ryan says the Devils fans are hostage of the ownership. It kind of feels that way. We got Anson said subbed up to the Devil's Den. If you're not subbed to Austin, let me drop his link again. You can find him at Devil's Den Hockey. Link in the chat. They aren't making the playoffs. Yeah, that's pretty I think pretty well known at this point. What do we got here? Justin's top 3 favorites are the same as mine, Marty, Dano, and Stevens. Yeah, I mean, if you grew up in that era, that's going to be a lot of people's top 3.
Yeah.
For sure. World's Worst Gamer says, this is not a don't worry comment. I'm objective. Look at the schedule. I've been right so far in regards to the recent schedule. I mean, it's possible, but even if they win, I'm not going to mentally, change anything from where I'm at right now, where it's just, the season's over and we're bleeding out. John Fay says, Ace, Austin, call me crazy, but would you believe me if I said I feel like if we kept Schmid, he would have became our Igor/Sorokin like goalie stat-wise and percentage-wise? I mean, I might say it's a little crazy. I don't know what you saw.
Yeah,
to take that leap. I would have been content with just him being a legitimate NHL starter, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think that Schmid ever would have become quite what Shesterkin is. I mean, if he did, great. I could see him like going to the next gear, but like Shesterkin is just so good. He's just so good. Hold on, Ace. I'm gonna try to turn my camera off for a second and then turn it back on.
All right. Chowski said, I was at the game. Good teams figured them out, and you could literally see the frustration of our players when they get back to the bench. These guys are broken. I mean, it certainly seems that whatever has happened over the past couple years, that this group has kind of hit their potential as a group, and it's time to look at what you're going to do differently. And if you're Tom Fitzgerald, what you do differently is absolutely nothing. I can't believe it. John said, I don't even know what happened to Pesci. The dude's a warrior, and he just is now getting injured a lot because he's just a monster. in every way possible. Michael said, hard not to throw Needs in the top 3. Needs is in my top 5. I mean, and it's not just because they're very good players, just because of their duration on the team and the years that they played here and what the team accomplished. My top 5, in no particular order, are the retired banner number guys. Marty, Stevens, Danico, Eliash, and Needs. And I think many longtime fans, their list would be the same because all of those guys were huge pieces of 3 cup teams for everybody except Patty was 2 cup teams.
Right. Niedermeyer's definitely in my top 5.
I love Needs. Ace, question for you in Austin. Who was the worst Devils signing ever? Mine was Andrew Peters. Worst signing ever? I'd have to think about that.
Worst signing? I don't know why, but Damon Severson comes to mind.
I mean, Ryan Clough was a pretty bad one.
That's hard to say. I mean, there was this goalie we signed for 2 years at $6 million. That might be up there.
You talking about Markey?
That might be up there. And it's not because Markstrom's like the worst thing in the world, but like, really? That's the signing? Okay.
Yeah, it's Maria says Pesci took a big hit by Marchand, but I'm not sure that's what did it. We may never know. The mystery of all these guys' injuries come out after the game, and you're like, wait a minute, that guy's not playing for weeks now.
Well, I thought Jack was injured again today because I saw him hunched over the bench, like in a significant amount of pain.
Yeah, he shook it off. I don't know. Is this your this can't be the worst signing. This must be favorite player, Brian Rafalski.
That's got to be.
Beast. Lift Waffen says he's on my list because of the cup run in Detroit and he's a Michigan native. Yeah, he was a big part of 2 Devils Cup teams. Always liked Brian Rafalski. Chowski, they gave out some pretty sweet Pesci bobbleheads tonight. Yeah, Pesci bobblehead night didn't even play. That's just super unfortunate. Doug Prezy is so special for me because he's the reason I love the Devils and even got into the sport of hockey.
Fair.
We got Eliash, Marty, Stevens in that order. Would you say Chico as well as one of your tops or no? No, Chico's playing time was way before mine, so Chico does not.
Definitely before mine.
Yeah, I mean, Chico is forever ago. David says, Austin, predictions for Final Four and Cup winner right now.
Final Four. So Eastern Conference, Carolina will probably be there. It'd be kind of cool if we had Carolina Islanders, but I could totally see the Penguins being a surprise. And then in the West, you've got Colorado versus. I'd love to see Colorado. You can't have Colorado.
No, I was going to say, I can't even answer this without pulling the shit up in front of me because with the new format, it's just so dumb.
Yeah.
I think I'm assuming you're one of the normal people on the planet in the 99.8 percentile that would prefer the NHL to go back to the old playoff format.
Oh, I love 1v8.
And then the reseeding. I just, how can you believe that the current format is better? I think it's literally like 99% of people are like, bring back the old format.
Yeah. 1v8, 2v7, all that stuff. That was so much better.
This is complete bullshit.
Cup winner, I don't know how you don't put Colorado as the forefront winners, although there's always that spooky the best team in the league always goes out in the first or second round. If you look at Boston's historic run when they had the most points of any NHL team in history, and then they went out in the first round against Florida, who then went on to win the Cup. You got to favor Colorado, though. I'd love to see Anaheim go deep. I miss Anaheim like doing really, really well in the league. That'd be really cool to see.
I've always liked Dostal. Years ago, I was like, that was a guy I would have wanted the Devils to try to target, but I think they knew what they had in him from early on.
Mm-hmm.
You've obviously seen the Mighty Ducks movies, right?
Yep.
Legendary.
Yep.
Crazy that a real franchise came out of that. It's wild.
Yeah.
Chowski said, if we're talking about bad contracts,
Markey's up there. 2 years,
guys, you guys, this is ridiculous. This Markey slander will not stand. How are you going to put it up there with the bet? The contract hasn't even started yet. It's for next year and the season after.
Ace, How do you not give $6 million a year to a guy that has an .840 save percentage?
Listen, timeout. Questionable is undeniable at this point. It's undeniably questionable. Yeah. However, and listen, don't get me wrong, I'm nervous as shit about it too, but I think it is very premature to call it one of the worst contracts, considering he has not played a game in that contract yet.
Look, I agree, but for meme's sake, can't we all agree that it looks like we're all going to be shitting ourselves for the next 2 years? If he even hangs in the next 2 years.
Imagine Markey comes back next year and is like lights out.
You know what? If he does it, I will personally eat my words. I will personally come out.
I want it to happen so bad because people have been shit talking my guy.
I'll get a Bible, put my hand on it, and I will apologize.
People have been shit talking my guy all year. I want nothing more.
I was psyched for Markstrom when he came by. I don't even think he was that bad last year. He really wasn't. But
no, he was pretty damn good in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You got Dowling, people just now slandering. I mean, Dowling was serviceable. He wasn't moving the needle, but John Fay, I wish I was watching the Sabres versus Lightning game instead of this bullshit. That was quite the event. 8-7 tons of fisticuffs. That had everything.
Yeah.
John Fay wants the 1 versus 8 format back. I think we all do.
That's because John has brain cells in his head.
I get that it improves the first round, but it's not worth it. I don't even think it improves the first round. Who wants to constantly keep seeing the same matchups over and over again? Like, it's tired. And teams,
I love watching the 1v8. It's so much fun. I love
it so much better. And it also prevented you from like essentially knowing the matchups in some cases like a month ahead of time. You're like, okay, well, these two, you know, that's what it's going to be. Like the 1 versus 8. You had people kind of shifting up until the last day and you weren't sure what the matchups were going to be. Yep. So it was definitely way more exciting. Justin says, Austin, do you think Quebec City will ever get their team back?
Never give Quebec their team back. Ever. Those separatists can stay gone as far as I'm concerned.
So you don't think there's any chance?
No, I mean, there's always a chance.
Is there real chatter around this, or is it just like a bunch
Quebec's of like wanted their Nordiques back since they walked out the door? But like, I don't know why adding one more non-competitive Canadian hockey team the league needs.
I'm super against any expansion at this point.
Like, at what point are we going to have like I feel like in 50 years there's a real possibility like the NHL is going to have like 40 teams in it, and at that point it's just going to be way too big.
That's definitely possible. World's Worst Gamer 1 versus 16. I saw people talking about this on Twitter.
Yes, I've seen it before.
1 versus 16 gets you crazy matchups. I wish they did it for a period of time. Yeah. I feel like they probably would not because of travel reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But that certainly would be interesting if they just kind of alleviated the whole conference thing and was just straight up ran it like that. I still believe, for me, even if I could institute any way or any changes whatsoever, I wouldn't do anything crazy other than literally just bring it back to 1 versus 8 within the conference. I like
1v16 could be a lot of fun though. I can see that being a lot of fun.
It could, but then if that was the format, I think you would then have to definitely adjust the regular season format to kind of reflect that, right? Because always, back in the day, there was even more emphasis on division games than obviously conference. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure back in the day, you only played Western Conference teams once. Mm-hmm. Now you get the home and home, I guess, because they figure, everyone's got to play everywhere. But I guess if they somehow morphed the schedule to be more kind of accommodating to that, I wouldn't be super against it.
Plus, you'd have to get rid of the Prince of Wales trophy and the Clarence C. Campbell Award as well.
But this also de-emphasizes like rivalries also. Like, I'm all about the rivalries. I remember there were some seasons, I think it was either 7 or 8 times they played division teams. You played 7 or 8 times, and it was like there was bloodbath. Like the Ranger games back then were just absolute flyers. I mean, they were just great rivalries, and that's what you get when you have a division-heavy schedule.
Yeah.
What do we got on here? Chowski said he will eat his words too. I want him to succeed. A lot of people clowning Markey, but hoping to be wrong. I could respect that viewpoint. World's Worst Gamer, as bad as our team is, if we get 2 scoring wingers in the summer, we will go back to being a fake contending team that has 96 points or whatever. I mean, listen, we did absolutely nothing on deadline day. You guys are talking about 2 scoring wingers in the same summer. Sheesh. I mean, listen, it's nice to dream.
You'll take a 3rd or 4th line center, and you will be happy with it. That is what you're going to get.
We got another, go back to the original playoff format. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Relocation only. We don't need 40 teams. I agree. Maria says no to Atlanta too.
No, don't let them have one.
Failed twice, 3rd time's a charm. Another Anson is 1 versus 16 would be kind of badass, but likely too challenged.
Yeah.
Atlanta does not deserve another franchise.
No, it doesn't.
We got another no more expansion teams. John Fay, 32 teams is fine. I like it. David Chimes, PK Subban was a waste here on a big contract. More interested in self-promotion than staying in shape and prolonging his career. Totally used his charm to hide lack of work ethic. Wow. David coming out swinging on PK randomly.
That's a hot take. I know a few people that would fight you for those words.
All right, give me 1 second. Let me see something here.
Yeah, go for it. Hold on, I'm gonna scroll through the chat really quickly.
PK was a waste here on a big. All right, so I can't let this guy get slandered and not defend himself. So coming in live from New York City, PK Subban.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I had a panic attack there for a second.
Imagine that'd be so funny. If only. SJ says, are the Sharks in the playoffs? Would love to see them.
I think they are. I'm pretty sure they are
right now.
Wild card maybe, but
no, they're a couple. They're a point out of the wild card, of the second wild card, and they have a game in hand on the Kraken.
I'd be more than happy to have Sharks get in.
Dude, that West Coast race is crazy.
It's tight.
There's a world where, let me see here, 72. Oh yeah, dude, the Central's filthy.
There's a world where the Nashville Predators make the playoffs.
I can't see that world happening, but that is a thing.
They're only 3 points out. I'm going to say this. If the Nashville Predators make the playoffs and the Devils didn't, and the Devils won't.
Yeah, the Devils aren't. The Predators are in striking distance. They're 3 points out.
I might have to, the next video I make might just be me sobbing into a pillow, because when the Nashville Predators have achieved more success this year than the New Jersey Devils, you know it's gone wrong.
Hamilton, Ontario is getting a hockey team back in the A. They're taking the Bridgeport Sound Tigers, I believe, the Islanders AHL affiliate.
I know they moved I know Brampton got theirs because it used to be the Brampton Battalion, but they moved the Mississauga Steelheads to Brampton, so now they're the Brampton Steelheads. But I know that Ontario, they've mixed and mangled all of those teams.
David Chimes, I must be the only one who likes the current format. I think you are, David. I like division rivalries in the postseason. Get why people disagree, but this is how I feel. It's just the same retreads, like over and over. I don't want to see that.
Don't get me wrong. Watching Boston spank Toronto in Game 7 every year is one of my favorite traditions.
I can see dealing with the Toronto people every day.
Oh my God, it's so much fun.
And they think they're going to win, and it's a Game 7, and it's
like, guys, this year is the year. You're not getting anything.
Yeah. John Fay, sign me up for Lights Out Markey and a Lights Out Allen, but we need good, hardworking defensemen who know how to pass, defend, and play defense. We got Murray as a Halla lifting a cup. I always liked Halla. He got a lot of flack for a while amongst other guys. Ryan H. Unfortunately, my wife is an Islanders fan, so I guess I'll be watching Islanders. I'll definitely be rooting for the Islanders. There's a lot of teams that I wouldn't mind, like for the East. I think the 2 teams that come to mind that I would be pulling for is probably Buffalo and the Islanders. And then in the West, it would be the Sharks, Wild, and Oilers. I always go with the Devils ties, and then the Sharks. For me in
the East, it's the Montreal Canadiens. I really want them to do well. They have been waiting so long. Suzuki and Caulfield have been waiting so long for something to go well there. I think it would be so cool if you had like Montreal versus the Islanders or Montreal versus Buffalo, like two teams that have had like next to no success
For a
in the
conference
last
final,
20
that would be
years.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Sabres have absolutely paid their dues.
The Trenton is getting an ECHL team, but I don't think they're gonna. I don't think the Devils are gonna be affiliated, but I don't know. The ECHL affiliations are always weird because I feel like they're just changing all the time. John Fay, I'm mixed between Sabres wagon and Isles wagon. I'm on both, and then if they ever play each other, I'll have to pick.
Yeah.
But I love Tage Thompson. I always liked Lindy, and their fans have suffered forever.
Oh my God!
Forever. What a
they've been in hell for years.
Suffering fan. Yeah, and since Sabres paid their dues, Buffalo's paid for decades in all sports. Like, they're just way overdue. Child says Sabres are going to the conference finals. That would be what a story that would be. Then we got Habs played for the Cup this decade. They can wait until the sun burns out.
I mean, there's an asterisk over that over that Cup final. Okay. Tampa versus Montreal is your Cup final in a COVID lockdown year. There's definitely a giant asterisk.
I still don't even understand why they allowed the format for that to be two Eastern teams in the final. It was super weird. What was the circumstances with that? I don't even remember. They made these like arbitrary brackets, right?
What the playoff format was. There was a playoff bubble. The NBA has a thing where they have like a plan where if you didn't make the playoffs, if you would get like one chance if you won your game, you got to go in. I think we had like a similar thing for the NHL, and I felt so bad for the West because it's like your Stanley Cup final is two Eastern Conference teams, and one of these teams is the defending Stanley Cup champion. The other team is a team that literally didn't make the playoffs. One of these teams is getting thumped.
Wait, New Mexico's getting a hockey team?
No shot.
I guess listen. There's a lot of hot minor league markets. People are serious about their minor league hockey. The 5 stars. I'm rooting for the Wild and Quinn. Fireable offense for Fitz. I like Quinn. I like Boldy a lot as well. But more importantly, I'm a big Billy G guy. Cup champion with the 1995 New Jersey Devils. Love Billy G. So I'm definitely rooting for them as well. We got Zomboozes. I can't be an Islanders backer. I lived in Brooklyn and saw how Isles fans treated people in Brooklyn and not just the ushers. Would you like to expand upon that?
I'd like to hear more about that, actually.
Suk, I don't understand the asterisk on that, though. Every team went through the same thing that year. I mean, listen, it's still a cup, but it's weird to me for sure. But I wouldn't say it's an asterisk. That was Austin's thing, but I would say it's peculiar. It
was just one of those years where, like, it didn't really feel the same. Like, they all still had to go through the same stuff. I'm not trying to, take anything away from Montreal, but it was one of those years where, like, you're playing in front of an empty arena. The playoff format wasn't the same as it was in previous years. They changed a lot up. There was a lot of different stuff that they had to make different, and it just didn't feel the same way. Like, I can't imagine playing a Stanley Cup final in front of an empty arena.
Super strange. I remember watching it on TV being like, this is super strange. All right, I have to go to bed and do some shit before I go to bed. But let me get all these windows. Follow my man Austin, Devil's Den Hockey, post in the thing. Before I let you go, I'm gonna give you the solo. Do like a little 2 to 3 minute soliloquy. It's all you, superstar. Bang! Oh wait.
Other way.
Yeah, I hit the way. Hold on. Wait. I gotta.
All right, Devils fans. It is 12:30 in the morning. So we lose against Detroit. We're back on the horse in the next game. You gotta bet on the red. You gotta put it all on the red and black. We're back. We're gonna get the win, or I'm going to cry. It's going to be one of the two. I'm either going to be jumping up and down in joy, or I'm going to be crying in a corner. Regardless, there'll be a video. There'll be a video anyways. It doesn't matter. The Devils are in a unique spot where even though we're not making the playoffs, we can be the thorn in the side to every single other team that's just on the bubble. Do not give an inch. You didn't play well this year. You played like shit. Finish strong. and I'll take it because at this point, what else are we gonna do? And that's my shtick for the end of this. Oh God, I think Ace literally just.
I'm back. I like that. I like it. Play spoiler. I mean, we are playing a lot of teams that we could play spoiler to, whether that's Bruins, Pens, or some other ones on there. We could kind of throw a monkey wrench in their plan.
Pain in the ass team.
And just be that team that has nothing to play for, that's just ruining people's seasons. I'll never be on the Doug said F tanking. I'll definitely not be.
Never tank.
I'm never a tanker. I hate
your last breath.
What's going on, Evan? John said let's ruin other teams' hopes and dreams of making the finals. Absolutely.
Damn straight, John.
All right, everybody follow Devils Den. I dropped the link. Austin, appreciate you coming on, man. Always a good time.
Always a great time. Thank you for having me on.
We have several much needed days off, I think, at this point for all of us. I'm going to try to not pay as much attention to Devils related stuff. I can't. I'll do my best, but I'm going to try to watch some movies, maybe watch some shows that people had suggested, and just kind of try to disconnect a little bit from this, but it just keeps sucking me back in, man.
We're almost there, Ace. We're almost done.
Keep getting sucked back in. But all right, man. Good talking to you. You have a good morning, I'll say. It's not even night anymore. Hey, you have a good morning, and I will talk to you soon, my guy.
Take it easy, Ace.
Later, my man. And there he is, Austin from Devil's Den. Give him a follow. I dropped the link in the chat. And do you guys have any last final things here? This went much longer than I had planned, obviously, because Austin came on. We're BSing, talking about a bunch of random stuff. Anyone have anything else? And one of the last plugs, American Swagger, the thing's in the way. Represent your country and our golden goal boy, Jack Hughes. American Swagger, hoodies and tees, multiple colors, champion garments, quality stuff. And like I said, I'm going to include a little something extra. I dropped the link in the chat. I'm probably going to close this down tomorrow, and it'll be history for those of you to get your beautiful hoodies or t-shirts. That will be a collector's item one day. Link in the chat. But anyone have anything else? Shorzy, I know I got to watch Shorzy, man. Shorzy, what is it on again? Dude, the thing is, all these friggin' different platforms and what is the easiest way to watch this? Yeah, the Devils have put all of us in a mental institution. It'd be more fun if they played Dawes. They're certainly not playing Dawes because he has no future here. I do think that was a whole mismanaged situation, but I understand how it happened. I'm not going to kill Fitz for bringing Allen back. I don't think anyone saw Allen signing that deal, and it kind of just messed up, I think, the plan. Send Dougie on along. John, since we are eliminated, do you think Keefe should allow our guys to play their own game, whether it be physical or non-physical? Well, first of all, John, what are you talking about? Whether it be physical or non-physical, you know what their game is. It's allergic to physicality nearly. I don't think you're going to see that. I think if anything else, Keefe is going to want to finish strong as well and potentially save his job, which could be on the line. For all we know, there could be, a kind of known thing behind closed doors that everyone's going to be back next year. Fitz and Keefe both. But who knows? I mean, if I was Keefe, I wouldn't feel totally secure in my job, and I would think that potentially finishing strong could be something good in terms of not being fired, but we'll see. Hulu. Okay. Good night, Justin. Faye, what I mean is let the devil off the leash and allow them to run. Yeah, it's possible, but I don't think so. I think if, Keefe is trying to get these guys to play the game he wants them to play and just finish strong and potentially come back for next year. I do think it'd be total nonsense, as I've said before, if Fitz was able to fire him and keep his job. To scapegoat another coach, I just think would be super unfortunate and kind of crappy. I really do. All right, but that's it, guys. I'm done. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. I got a ton of stuff in the works. I think tomorrow I'm dropping, I think it's the second to last vlog. I got super bogged down. I think I have 2 vlogs from Milano left. So look for those. I think there's some interesting stuff in there. I got to finish editing them up. But one will be probably coming out tomorrow, maybe one the following day. But man, it seems so recent, but so long ago in some ways. Akira Schmid, a Game 7 shutout over the Rangers. Regression ever since. But that's it. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go.